Howdy, everyone. Welcome in. I am Weelku, joined by my ever astute friend Treasure. We are dressed up for this finals because we thought we should look good for a good match.
Yeah, and this should be a good one here. We've got ONU Varsity and Purdue Gold, two titans of their division facing off in their championship match tonight. This one's going to be a best of five. It's going to be going a little longer, but that just means more action for those of us who are getting to watch it from the sidelines here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, two giants from their division, 5-1 and 6-0. Purdue Gold with the flawless record throughout the the regular season, and then obviously making their way here to the finals. Something to keep in mind: the last time they did match up, it was not too close. To be fair, Gold won with an average of 7 to 2.5 rounds, 2-0 quick fashion. So for them, they're obviously hoping to just kind of repeat that. And on the other foot, ONU varsity obviously looking to do a little bit better. But look at the bottom of the screen here, and we can see the maps that we're going to be going to.
Yeah, so we're going to be starting off with Villa, right? They're heading to Bank, and our third guaranteed map, if one of these teams is going to be trying to go for that sweep, is going to be Oregon. If we continue on from there, though, we've got Chalet in our regulation there, and our final decider map could be Clubhouse. So keep your eyes out for that potentially coming up here.
Yeah, I'm really hoping, and we're going to jump into the game right away here. Going Villa, starting us off. I do hope at least we can make it to that fourth map because I love Chalet, and it's just always fun to watch because it's a fast-paced map for the most part. And sometimes, it's a little slower, but there's always just action all over throughout the round. It's not usually no one dies, no real engagements until the last minute, like it can be on some other maps. That map, a little more fun. Here on Villa, it's also, this is again one of those maps, I've said this many times, one of the maps I would argue is actually pretty balanced overall. And that's what allows us to know that both teams, it's going to be on them. It's not going to be like a certain advantage starting on a certain side. It's really just going to be what does their form look like. And on the first map, you can't really start out cold. It's a best of five, so obviously you do have a long time. You at least have to win three of these maps to win it all, right? And could happen 3-0, but hopefully not.
Yeah, this will be one of those tests of endurance. They've been playing best of three all throughout this season. Neither of these teams is really going to be strangers to a longer series, though. So it might not be that huge of a factor, but we'll see who can start off and get that early traction and see who's got the constitution to keep going right through. The operator bans aren't going to be very surprising at all here. Flores, Thatcher, Kaid, and Valkyrie. All operators that we have seen constantly banned. It's just the place in the meta right now. Not too much to say on that, really.
Right. I mean, the only thing maybe you could say is a little interesting is the Flores. You could have replaced that with something else, but at the same time, as you said, not
I guess
uncommon.
alternatively, we could see hard breachers, right?
Right, exactly. But in this case, it doesn't really matter. I think that's mainly just because these teams do like to play shields on this map, depending on where they are, especially classical hallway. You'll oftentimes see main stairs when you're doing a planes and games defense. So you need to keep those up for as long as possible, and Flores is one of the best ways to clear them out. So obviously, take them out allows those shields to stay up a little bit longer. Looking at the lineups, we do see Ella being brought, so that's a shield op. We're just talking about those, and some other ops that aren't seen actually super often, like Legion, for example. So there is a little bit of interesting lineups coming through, and the bomb site starting out is also going to be interesting. Statues and trophy.
Yeah, an exciting start right off the bat here from ONU. It doesn't look like anything too crazy from the setup determined by these characters at this point so far. But like you said, the shields are going to be an important thing. That's the reason for the Flores ban. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage to those shields. But with the Jaeger and even the Aruni to do some more protecting for those assets that are going to be more vulnerable to the explosives coming through from the attack, which there are plentiful. You're going to look at 3 of those operators having throwable or launchable explosives at the ready for dealing with utility. And that's mostly going to be focused towards that shield.
What I'm looking forward to seeing here is what attack are Purdue going to put into this, as they are doing that classic setup of Ella shotgun in the closet in the bedroom area. And oftentimes I've heard a lot of pro players talk about that, and even coaches, they're saying sometimes they'll just altogether push from the opposite side just because it is a menace to deal with. And it looks like that actually might be what's going to come through here. Lager is already getting on the front door, and they're going to be spotting out this player, it looks like, with the drone work, and that they are on top of main stairs there. But no engagements coming through quite yet. They're going to escape with their lives, maybe try and shoot some drones and just play that time wasting game.
Yeah, Toxicity still has plenty of room to work with up here. Moving upstairs is going to be moving into the domain of Hangman as opposed to the operators on the front door. There, W is going to be the one actually looking to engage on that corner, or at least taking out some drones. They got rotate holes around here so that they can keep playing up pretty aggressively on the angles. Dropping is going to add a little bit more versatility to this as well. ONU definitely investing resources over here towards that south end of the map.
Yeah, nothing being gleamed yet. Just finding some bodies that they're going to have to maybe be chasing ghosts if they take too long. And it looks like they're actually going to push ahead, though, aware that the hatch is open up. They kind of are privy to this retreat. And now they're already getting the top of the red stairs lamp area, taking control of, and then slowly work their way towards site. But they do have to worry about these players coming up and flanking. That will be the key, I think, coming up from ONU Varsity.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
That Nomad air jab is going to do a little bit of a job securing the flank up there, but they're going to keep eyes on it as well. They know that there's a lot of pressure from below, like we were seeing all before. No pressure from the north side is going to allow more flexibility for the defenders over there as well. A trade coming on either side, 1-for-1, and the defenders still have that whole side by astronomy to be looking out on as long as they're not pushing up on angles. That's going to allow them a really easy hold here as long as Purdue isn't able to really find too much intel into sight, which Lagers is getting pretty heavily right now with a perfect ping onto Kiwi, which is going to net a kill perfectly from Mila.
Nice job getting on the rappel, getting that kill. Hangman going for the plan now, so they're going to have to go and try and get some denial here if they're privy to it. Doesn't look like they are, though. The awareness is not there from ONU Varsity. They're going to play a post-plant situation. A kill coming up from the window, but it's instantly refragged by Toxicity. Now a 2v3 post-plant situation. They can do it, but they don't have a lot of time to get the job done. A quick peek from Lagers does net that kill on to Quicks, and it's all up to Toxicity. He's going to face against a player on the window. Mila is just too strong, and a win coming up for Purdue Gold in the first round.
It almost feels like Purdue had more intel in sight than ONU did in their own objective right there. You just look at that Gemini coming in and being able to ping the exact location of Kiwi, not hearing those footsteps, anyone in the objective, and they ended up wasting a lot of time by having that all the way out in the closet, which ended up not being a battle zone for any of that map or round.
A really good job. You could see that the teamwork coming through. They didn't let the time get to their heads at all. It was getting down to about a minute, and those defenders had wasted a lot of times. But then, as you mentioned, just that drone work, the Anaclone getting the information, instantly capitalizing on it, getting the kill is going to put you in a good position. And then from there, that was the only player really having any angles onto the site to see that the plant was going through, and that just cost ONU Varsity. They were not able to recover from it. Post-plant situation with all these different angles being held by the attackers is very hard to stop. But this bomb site, I will mention again, I've brought this up before. I haven't seen like the newest statistics, so this could have changed, I guess, with the most recent season. The last I knew, this was one of the worst bomb sites statistically, winning on defense. So to see them try it again is questionable. But we'll see. Maybe they'll bring a little bit of a different approach because they aren't bringing that Ella shotgun.
Yeah, W here is going to be opting for a pulse this time. That's not a bad thing for playing underneath, either over by the living room or even just underneath living room, or sorry, bedroom. Both of those are nice positions for that vertical play that he's going to be providing on the pulse. But otherwise, the team is looking pretty much the same. I imagine we'll be seeing some more of that wide roaming, especially from Toxicity, since he's going to be set up to be doing that. Keep putting that down those goo mines and controlling a larger area of the map. A south take is going to be the same play from Purdue as well. They're typically unflinching in the way that they approach a site. They don't really care too much what the defenders are putting up against them.
Well, if it isn't broken, why fix it, right? Isn't that the old phrase? And last time they had very good success. Yes, it was a little dicey in the early round, getting an exchange of kills and only have about a minute to try and execute. But after that, just complete domination coming out from them. Really a lot of help coming from the drone work that wasn't really denied too well from OMU, unfortunately for them. But, you know, that's all about the placement of their bodies. They had two people go below. That also allowed the site control to be taken by the attackers, and then from there they weren't able to bring it back. Here we're going to see Toxicity playing on that 90 again, just trying to buy time, shoot out some of these drones, deny some of that information. But you always have those Niana clones, which we saw did net them a lot of information and a kill last time. So there's still more to be done from these defenders if they want to buy enough time to get that win at the end of the round. The quick coming out with the peek, gets a double kill on the Lagers, and Hangman, a quick peek from Providence, can get a kill, but Toxicity's right there to get the refrag. Now it's a 2v4 for the attackers on the other foot in this round, and it's already looking like going back to this bomb site is paying off.
Yeah, this round, Ohio Northern has dedicated more resources towards the Plains and Games area, which is the main point of attack from Purdue Gold's team.
Attackers dropped the
They still
diffuser.
have the False underneath, which is going to be feeding great intel, especially when you know there's only 2 operators left on the opposing team. It's going to catch a little bit of that foot, but Goose Smitty, by an act of luck or good timing there, has stopped to get on the drone for a second, get a little bit more
Bomb
intel,
located
save
by
him from a
attackers.
full explosion there. Mila also caught out a little further away, and doesn't look like they have the intel down the hallway to know for sure if anyone's pushing up Reds. That's going to
Attackers
hurt
have
them as the
recovered
round
the
continues.
A quick peek coming through the jiggle peeks. Camila not able to get the kill. They've already retreated after seeing that they missed the opportunity to get the kill on them. The swing not going to pay off. Quicks with a triple on the round. Goose Midi in a 1v4 now, less than a minute remaining. He's going to get shut down as well. Quicks a quad on the round, and that's going to allow them to even it up.
All right. Not taking that sitting down after round 1. Purdue coming out very strong, really unfazed by the defense that Ohio Northern gave. But ONU, very comfortable this time. Quick's doing a lot of work there, but otherwise they did actually adapt to deal with that same attack strategy that was being used by Purdue Gold. And it pays off. They're going to be heading to a site that you wouldn't really anticipate next to either. It's a little bit surprising to go back-to-back trophy, especially after losing the first one. And now going to dining room and kitchen. This time they're not immediately showing a pulse. They got a 2nd to 6th pick. I wouldn't be too surprised if they do that since he worked out well. Different intel operator also makes a lot of sense though.
There's always a lot of games going into this, even just casting, wondering like why are they making certain decisions. And one reason I can think of is like it's two-sided, right? Either they feel comfortable on these sites more and playing some games isn't their thing, or they did the work and watched the film, looked at how Purdue Gold were doing on their attacks and saw that Plains and Games is just an attacking site that they were dominant on and they're avoiding it. You know, you don't really know which it is, or maybe there's even altogether another reason. So we can only just try and make some assumptions and do our best with that. But either way, going back to the same site is always something we call a sin. In this case, it actually worked out for them. But I will say that the caveat there is that they actually do something different. They don't play the exact same defense. Obviously, they got away from the yellow shotgun in the closet, and then they go to a more standard defense, and they're not having people drop down below either. The quick peeking coming out is really just making that phrase swing or be swung, it's really true in this meta right now. You have to be aggressive, and right now ONU looks to be trying to match feet for feet on those aggressive swings.
This hold is going to be one pretty focused on that vertical, which is almost a necessity on kitchen, the vertical pressure if the attackers are allowed to get up above in master bedroom really early on can be absolutely deadly. So they're pretty focused on that. Purdue, however, is looking to clear out all the way here through mud room before they do anything else, looking to get the rest of the fireplace room as well, with Laggers pushing out on his own as it's pretty typical.
What are the chances that drone bouncing off the fence lands right on top of it like that? That's kind of funny. That's impressive. Impressive feat. Taking quick control down below near our studio. We're going to be trying to cut off any of the roamers that might have been over here, as we have seen a lot of defenders are prone to just lie in wait in this area, come try and swing as they're trying to push onto site, get some flanks. Obviously, just doing that to deny it for later in the round, and also just take what the defenders give you. And in this case, they've given you full control of the south side of the first floor. But there's still more work to be done. We're going to see Laggers just trying to draw some attention to themselves by shooting, just to buy more time in case some of these defenders want to be aggressive. I think that they're just trying to play into that aggressive nature that these defenders showed them so that maybe they can punish them. In this case, not netting anything quite yet.
Yeah, Quick's going for just that kind of aggressive play, pushing down Astro's stairs, the hero of last round, but he's not going to be able to catch anything after that drone. It's going to be perfectly placed to find him moving out. There are lots of drone work coming out from Purdue Gold, and they're feeling pretty confident about this first floor push right now. They're not going for any vertical control over site, so it might just pay off for them to push in and look for an earlier execute, especially with Laggers getting this first kill, moving even deeper into site with all of kitchen secured. They have the full intel that there's no one in there.
Wow, quick site control. I'm not sure where these defenders are playing, but they're going to have to go and try and capture it quick as the plant is going to go through. Looks like they're not able to stop it. Providence getting a kill. Laggers following it up. Things are falling apart for the defense. The Echo drone not on it in time. Unfortunate. Didn't have the information. An unfortunate time with the C4. Mila gets that kill. And now Kiwi not trying to let a flawless round happen, but indeed it does. Hangman getting that quick kill to finish it off.
Well, yeah, flawless round right there. Saw a lot of that wide roaming once again from Ohio Northern, but it really doesn't pay off this time as Purdue looks to delve deep into site, not even messing with the staircases at all, except to just drone them and make sure that they've got the intel to make sure there isn't flanks coming down from them or those hatches around there. And Lager's making a bold play pushing into kitchen so early with just the intel that they had gotten, which is, typically said good for around 6 or 7 seconds. And 6 or 7 seconds is all that Lager's needed to pick up a kill and clear out kitchen.
This is just once again showcasing Purdue doing the work with the drone work and getting the information, but they're also playing smart, right? Conventionally, you'd say you probably want the vertical pressure, but
Attackers
it's
need
just
to
like in
locate
football
and
and American
defuse as many
football. I've
bombs
said
as
this
they
before.
can.
You take what the defense gives you, and then you have to, try and gamble your way through the other key areas. In this case, they decided, well, if they're going to play off, they're going to play above themselves in defense, but they're going to play so light on defensive bodies being in sight. Let's just go after that. That's exactly what the objective is, right? Let's just get the bomb down, and from there, we can handle the pressure they're going to try and put on us from the staircases. And indeed, it works out pretty good. Just quick decision making, playing smart. I love to see it. We're gonna have to see if Owen you can throw some other curveballs at him to try and keep up.
Really, from any team, that as the approach to the
5
first
seconds
round
remaining.
attacking kitchen is pretty unusual. So I do not blame ONU for being caught off guard by that or not having the proper site pressure to deal with that attack. It's just a little bit of an off pick to be so singularly focused on the west side. Bring in a little bit different lineup. The Ella is back this time. Totally different lineup, though. No FO16. Got the Scorpion instead. Another formidable gun for that close range encounters. And Theas on the Tachanka. That's going to be a shield operator so that they've got 2 this time as they're going to be holding up in a different objective.
Well, looking at the defenders, they're doing an extended hold over near the bedroom, as that is also another common way that the attackers will try and push the site. Try and go over, get control of Lamp and 90, and then just from there try and get in the site, execute. But it looks like that is not the game that is being played by the attackers. Unfortunately for them, though, Quicks is ready for it. Gonna get Smitty as the opening kill there and give them a nice man advantage only a minute into the round.
Well, Quicks has taken on the fragging with the Aruni. Is a pretty typical role that we've been seeing, but sort of fallen off a little bit in the last season after nerfs to the Roni, but making the EVR look just as nasty there down these long engagements, picking up several opening kills already over the course of these first 4 rounds. That's really big because the Tachanka that we mentioned earlier is going to be using that gadget, the Shimika, to continue stopping any motion up the stairways, and we can see Hangman is definitely suffering for that. It's going to be a lot of wasted time for the attackers right now.
Well, the grenade isn't quite going to land the way they would like it. It's just going to be a little bit in front of the player above. Lager's going to try and get some drone work for his teammate, but it's not coming out in time. Theas is going to be the one getting that kill. Providence off the board. Now, a 5v3 for the defenders, and over half of the round has already elapsed. Things are kind of falling apart for them, and it's only getting worse. Theas going to get another kill onto Laggers, and now these attackers are in a 2v5 yet again. Toxicity getting a kill, and W, they're returning it back at them. A flawless round. Just getting a quick return back.
Back-to-back flawlesses, but trading for what team is actually going to be getting it. It's a pretty unusual. It's a bloodbath, especially up there in Classical Hall. I think this is a nice point to look at this match. See, we've got 4 rounds in the books, and dead even on either side, a flawless for either team. I think this should be an interesting series. I'm looking forward to keep going with it. We're back to trophy room already on round 5. That first pick objective for ONU. They're bringing the pulse once again. The Bandit for keeping the walls up, that's going to be pretty standard, but Purdue hasn't even bothered with dealing with that yet. So we'll see if it continues to net nothing for the defenders or if Purdue's going to change the way that they approach.
Indeed. But it won't be the same bomb site as they have just won. So now over to trophy again. We've seen this go
Attackers
back
need
and
to
forth.
locate and
So
defuse
as you mentioned,
bombs.
what are they going to do? Well, I'm also wondering, what are the attackers going to do, or defenders going to do different? Because they've already seen this defense now. You know, you've already shown 2 different defenses, and this is looking like the second one, which you lost, actually. Or did they? Sorry, I'm trying to remember now.
No, wait. Round 1, Purdue came out blazing.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Okay, yes, that
same
was it.
face on round 2.
That was it. The adjustment actually worked. That was my bad. I was just getting tripped up and like, what? Oh, yeah, that's what happened.
But
Okay.
it is a similar lineup. I think the Jaeger, the Wamai being the only change, interestingly enough.
Right, and so it did pay off, but
10
now
seconds
again
remaining.
they've seen it. I guess that was my main point, is that they've already seen this
Yeah.
defense. It's not anything
5
different
seconds
than
remaining.
that round that they did win, but it was only because they had changed it up. I think oftentimes
Attackers
that's the
must
reason
locate
that
and
a round
defuse
would be
the
so
bomb.
much different. Now the attackers being more aware, they kind of have a little bit of an advantage in the fact that they can switch it up themselves. You can't really do too much with this defense to try and bury it. I mean, I guess the placements can be a little different where your bodies are going to be. And bringing an IQ is actually a little bit different. I don't think we've seen it yet, but is it really worth it? Do you think? I don't know. I don't feel like it's worth it without Valcams being available.
Yeah, IQ is another operator that we've seen fall off a little bit, but I think she's really going to be here to start dealing with some of those objectives from below, like those bandit batters that Purdue hasn't been concerned with up until this point, but they're actually clearing from the bottom, a little more of a default take of this objective. See Hangman and, oh no, Providence actually going to totally, or a little further back, not going all the way into the room right there, getting some device intel from below and watching from the outside, but this is a very different push from Purdue. And if ONU stays with that adaptation for round 2, it might bite.
Right, playing off to the south side of the map. It worked out last time because that's where the push came through. This time it's not really coming through there. Now they do have time now because it has taken some moments and nothing's been thrown at them. So they're probably privy to the idea that, wait, they're not actually pushing over here. So the defenders certainly can get back in time. But that all depends on how quick these attackers want to go with this push. Quicks, though, he's been the one who's been a difference maker. These quick swings getting some kills, so they're going to want their body to be near these attackers once they start trying to get this execute down. Hangman trying to push up the Astro stairs. Going to be working in tandem, but I don't think he has his teammates quite there ready to work with him yet, so he's got to be a little bit more patient. They still have some time. And that's going to be the opening kill coming from Toxicity onto Hangman. Laggers getting a refrag onto Toxicity. So things all even yet again. But time is going to start ticking down. These attackers need to start thinking about where they're going to push from. They need the bodies to already be inside and in the site soon.
Getting that breach open is going to be pretty valuable. Kiwi here is going to be watching it, though, so they're going to have to clear him out from another angle. Losing Hangman is going to be really detrimental to that. He was holding a perfect angle to start putting that pressure on Kiwi. But Laggers has taken up the spot now, and after a little bit of a delay, they'll be able to, push up exactly like that. Laggers getting the kill, not the one that I was talking about quite yet, but he'll be pushing up into the next room, looking for a wall bang off of some intel. Smitty, though, is the one that gets away with 2 kills. Kiwi left all alone. He's sitting in between the... Wow, the extended roam and the main site itself. He's going to be caught out in a really rough situation here, especially with a player on the stairs, almost distracted by the camera there, but he still gets it.
Good job coming up from Purdue. We mentioned that, the defenders weren't, their setup was to counter what they had seen previously, and then the attack switches it up again. So back and forth, these teams go round and around, and the adaptations are continuing to just stump the other team each round. So now it's on ONU. Okay, can they get the even half? Can they also throw another trick at the other team to try and get it so that they are countering them perfectly? Again, yet to be seen, but the difference here is mute. They do realize probably that the information being gleaned from these attackers has been substantial in the way that they've been able to just know where to push, where the bodies are that they can find for free, because they've been really good at that, acting on information, getting easy kills, not really contested on those kills, and that's been the bane of ONU, Ohio Northern University. I don't want to say their name because I don't know if we actually have yet, so I just want to clarify what school that is. Ohio Northern University, their varsity team here. Pretty gold. I just want to mention also has multiple teams. That's why I wanted to specify what team this is. This is in the Legends division, the top division, or the highest ranks amongst all the different teams that NECC had stationed out in these different divisions. So I just want to clarify where we are, what teams we're looking at specifically, and just give a shout out to these schools for having multiple rosters. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's great to see in the community. I love your mention of the mute, because I think that's going to be pivotal here. Purdue signature play style, especially on attack, is that they're going to be doing all of their due diligence. They check all of the boxes, dotting their I's, crossing their T's. They get full intel on site, and then they act. They're very patient and very, very well coordinated between their whole team. And Laggers does a lot of work on the Yana constantly. So W taking that mute pick is going to be doing a little more to slow that down, especially in a way that the Mozzie pick hasn't quite managed to do for them.
The aggressive roam yet again off-site. 3 people, I think. Quick's going for that quick peek, and while they've netted plenty of kills from doing so, we'll see if they're able to get one here, but just playing the patient game. That is the Zofia, I believe, outside. So if they can get that kill, that's a big one, and that's going to be Lagger shut down by W, in fact, actually. So a different kill elsewhere on the map. Hangman also going to fall to W, so that SMG-11 coming alive in their hands, and that is going to be the mute below. A difference maker, not necessarily in the way we thought they would be, but coming out and swinging with a shotgun, that's a triple now on the round. Things falling apart for Purdue. They're being stumped by this player down below. That's going to be a kill onto them, but it's a little too late. Diaz getting a kill. Smitty trying to make it come back. They have 2 bodies found. They have 3 more to go if they want to win this round.
I don't know what the reason is, but W on the mute can absolutely be such a difference maker, really running away with rounds. And while he is going to go down, he still left his team in this 3v1 situation, just waiting for Goosemitty to have to push up. And this is just about a give me round as long as Goosemitty doesn't pull off some crazy theatrical stunts to pick up 3 in a row. He's got some time to look at this, though. He's going to have to make sure that he's engaging these fights one by one. But Toxicity is still on that run, waiting for intel to come out. And those gunshots are going to be telling a little bit about the location. But it's going to draw Toxicity right out. And Goosemitty is well on his way to looking at that ace. That's 3 kills already in a row.
Well, 3K from different players in each team. Still a lot to do here. I have a minute, so plenty of time to work with, but no drones in their pocket, so that it really is all going to be quick peeking. The beeper should give away their position. These two defenders going to play cross angles. It's exactly what you'd like. Don't give them the 1v1. That's going to be a shot through the door, but not a hit onto the head like Goosemitty needed. Now his position known for certain has to go in and try and make something happen in the 1v2 here. 40 seconds time ticking away even further. Goosemitty's going to have to go for an aggressive push. These bodies have now stacked up to have different angles that he has to contest with. It's going to be a lot to do here. He's going to swing with the LMG in hand. They're going to be playing a little bit more passive, holding completely different angles. He's going to go for the first one, but he can't get it. Diaz going to shut him down. And Owen, you are able to return to even at the end of the first half.
It is still just back and forth all the way through half one. We get to switch sides at this point. We're going to see ONU on the attack at this point. We're going to see how it stacks up. I think we're going to be seeing a lot less trophy room, though, since we saw 4 out of those 6 rounds played on that objective already.
And now, as you said, Planes and Games is selected. We'll see if they switch off of it, but it seems unlikely at this point. And so this will be the first time we get to see this defense, and it's going to be Purdue. And again, I have to wonder why ONU didn't go here, but it looked like, getting a split half is not uncommon. So it really didn't seem like it affected them too much, right?
No, not at all. Taking the pulse on the 6th pick for Aviator Games is not as common as for the other objectives on this map. They are really common to bring out that pulse, especially as that 6th pick. It's sort of not too sneaky, but it's definitely going to be a thing there. The attackers do take some interesting picks themselves, though. The Twitch and the Jackal, neither of them like bad operators by any means, but not as common for that first pick kind of thing. They're going to be dealing with some more roamers across more ground. It's going to be a reason for bringing that Jackal. And the Twitch is going to do more to deal with some of those gadgets, especially around the shields, which is going to be decent for dealing with a Goyo. He's bringing 2 shields right there, right off the bat, and you know that they're going to be defended by plenty of Jaeger and 1-my gadgets. So the more of those you can get, the easier it's going to be to get those big self-holds.
And I do believe that the Jackal is a 6th pick as well. So at least they didn't reveal that was a choice that they had made. So it still does at least give the element of surprise. And while that Pulse is a surprise as well, if the Jackal does go below and clears out roamers like you would expect, I mean, that could be the bane of that choice onto the Pulse. So it actually could net them a huge gain. But it all depends on how it plays out, right? I mean, a tick for tack could work out, but it also could just be very different on how they approach it compared to what I'm imagining. But the push into bedroom is going to be where they're going to be trying to take this bomb site. So like I mentioned, this is actually a pretty standard take. Go try and get control of statue and trophy, push into lamp, get control of 90, and then obviously from there decide which way you want to go. But Kiwi's going to get that opening kill on the Goosemitty, so that's the attackers actually getting the opening kill, and the defenders now, that's not a lot of time burned for a body already being found for them.
Valuable intel going out on these roamers on the north side, and the shotgun hole was a great giveaway. That Goosemitty might be playing that angle, so props on Kiwi picking up that kill and seeing the writing on the wall. But they don't have the Jackal going below like you said they might, so Hangman is going to be free to feed this intel, and this is a potential double kill, just asking to be ripped right here. It's not going to go off, though, as they both just move right at the right moments for themselves. Probably going to be assuming that they've got some damage, even though that didn't end up getting any. They just really moved out of the way right there. Mila does go down in this gunfight down the hallway by Classical, and he's going to need another player to hold up on the angle farm as well. Oh, but he gets killed off through the football. That's pretty sneaky.
Yeah, the drone hole's going to give him away. He was down and thought he was safe. Unfortunately, not for their sake. Laggers, though, going to get that first kill for the defenders with a C4, at least, so that getting something for their troubles, but not a lot. That's only 1 body found. You've already used 2 C4s and lost 2 men, so you're in a rough spot. There's no more utility for them to use. It's all going to be gun work from here out for these defenders in a 3v4. But at the very least, they still have plenty of site control, and these attackers are just now going to be getting into the lamp and into 90 position very soon. And that's actually pretty good with considering how much time is left. So the defender's still very much in this round, but they're going to need to stay alive, buy more time, I think, if they really want to win it.
Ooh, more cheeky looking holes through these drone holes. It's not going to quite net any feet shots, but it is going to tell his presence there and a little bit more threat. The smoke going down is going to give an opportunity to Hangman, but it's not going to quite work out for him. The LMG is just going to spit more lead down the hallway, so Hangman does lose his life. They're down to 2 defenders in the 2v4 situation here, but Providence is going to gun W down immediately. Here's the plant going down, swings for it, but there are plenty of players watching the angle. Wix is going to go down to Toxicity while Kiwi actually gets the kill on Providence. Oh, going down himself as well, but Toxicity is there to clean it up and finish out the round for ONU on their first attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, had the SMG-11, had they had a different gun with a bigger mag, that actually could have been the swing onto the second body, but ran out of bullets before they could actually get that kill. So unfortunate, but you tried your best. Good job. But unfortunately, really, the big problem was just losing bodies so early for the defenders. They had to then just be aggressive, and you don't want to be shooting through a smoke and just hoping to hit the body with such a slow rate of fire gun as the UMP that the Pulse had in hand, and then he just gets completely slammed down by Quicks on the Zofia LMG. So not the gunfight you probably wanted to take, but I understand the aggression when you're in that situation. Was hoping just to net something. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off. So now, ONU Varsity have an advantage, I believe, for the first time in this matchup. We'll see if they can hold it.
Yeah, Quicks has been absolutely devastating, so it's nice to see that flourishing gameplay right now, getting to actually get the leg up on round count at least. In the wake of that big LMG kill through the smoke, really just clamped down on that eventual victory for their attack. Switching over to this other defense site, they're going trophy room this time, Purdue. They're going to be going by a very different philosophy with their defending holds than ONU is.
This is now their second choice. Obviously, they're not going to try another bomb site a second time in a row. That's, as you said, different from what we saw from the defense of ONU. Hangman, he's been on this mine before. Not unused to it. So we'll see if that can be the catalyst they need. They're not having the greatest performance of their life. I don't like to highlight someone to down them, put them down.
But we'll do it anyways.
And I don't mean it in that way. I'm more just highlighting that this is a little bit of a change now to be on more of a frag heavy op, and I think that might just be what they need. Sometimes players need a role change just to get themselves, get the pistons started, because so far it's been a little bit of a slow start for them. Hopefully that is the case. I never like to see any player having a rough game. It's never fun. But in any case, the push is going to start coming through. Quicks is living up to the name, being very quick on the entry here, already getting in towards the laundry area. Clearly, they're just going for that low side take, get rid of any denial on the wall, and that is a little bit more standard. We haven't seen this take too often. We saw Purdue just have so many different ways they wanted to attack the site.
A lot of lateral control from Purdue is going to be interesting to see against an attack that's really split up from the attackers. They're not to say in a bad way, they're covering a lot of ground really quickly in this first minute, but Purdue isn't pushed out into those exact spots, so they're going to be constricted very soon here. Oh no, that Twitch drone making a lot of ground. They're going to maybe push Hangman out of position, but there's no one quite to punish him for that in the end. So it's going to be just another drone down and a couple fewer ADSs that are going to get zapped away.
Well, full site below, exactly the wrong word to use, site. I mean, just floor control down here in kitchen, not the bomb site. I correct myself. Lager's being aggressive here. I don't know if that drone saw him. I don't think so. So still has that catalyst ability here in the round, but now the drone work just saw it go in there, so he is now found out. Just buying time and playing cat and mouse, but no bodies still being found on either side, or drones being found now, thanks to Providence. Going on that roam, you know that he is also their IGL, so interesting to see him on the Malusi. We're going to see an instant exchange, immediately taking out, but then Toxicity is going to be taken out themselves after getting that kill by Hangman, so as I mentioned, has potentially get some kills here. Lager's just missing out on timing there onto the Astro Stairs player. Whereas Gooseberry, though, with the carbine in hand, does get one. The push from W gets them, but Hangman finding a triple kill on the round. This is exactly what they wanted. They needed to come alive, and they're doing it here to try and keep their team in this and get back to even. Now 1v3.
Lager's just sitting there looking for that flank for so long, and it just didn't pay off. But luckily, his teammates, especially Hangman, absolutely right there, ready to execute on the push up the stairs right there. Kiwi barely managing to avoid headshots from every direction, and Lagers finally gets that kill from Astros. Here they are all round long. Another one in the back for the defense here.
And with how quick they got that kitchen control and such, I thought that that would allow them to get the wall open, and then those bodies would just get out of there, move upstairs or move out into the hallway. But they kind of stalled out there for ONU. Ohio just not pushing up the stairs and just waiting too long, it felt. They had to let the time be their enemy at that point. They had done really well on the first half of that round, but then from there again, kind of stalled out. So we'll see if that's the theme.
Stacking up right there on that same choke point up from astronomy stairs and the bathroom really set Hangman up for that big 3K.
True enough. We're going to be seeing now the Aviator games tried again. Last time didn't go so well, but that was on the back of some really good opening kills from Ohio Northern. And I think that Purdue probably a little more privy to the different angles that the attackers will be throwing at them. But still, got to play your life a little bit better than last time. That really did cost them that round.
Yeah, I think Aviator will really be a closed book on this one. It's going to be hard to tell what's going to be coming from either side. There wasn't too much shown from ONU's attack for Purdue, so they're going to be going into it a little bit blind. They didn't get a lot of intel after that long engagement over by the north end of Classical Hall throughout the last round on this defense. They ended up down 2 teammates right off the bat, which means that they're having to just play from behind. So this one, they want it to go more to their plan. They're switching up their operators, playing a really heavy anti-intel game. They've got the Mute, they've got the Mozzie, they've got the Vigil. So they're hoping to slow down that push, but ONU looking to do quite the opposite. They got the Buck for some pressure from below, and Chaos on the Ying. That's an operator that really screams you're looking to clear some rooms.
True, and last time we did see that they did bring the Wamai in Jaeger, I believe, and this time they just have the Jaeger, so maybe they were just going for some more utility clear. I'm not quite sure, but either way, that Ying is going to be even more powerful without the Wamai to try and stop it out. Only 3 ADSs, so could prove important at the very least with getting some ground, maybe even netting some kills. Drone work coming through. They're just going to take their time here. Last time they had a quick push in. This time they're staying outside of the building a little bit longer just to make sure that they are a little bit safer. There are 2 bodies in blue. We saw the highlights around their bodies, so that means there's some decent roam game coming out on the side of Purdue.
Yeah, that's going to be really important to be droning out here. And they've done a lot of drone work through this first floor. But Goose Smitty is definitely nowhere to be found. And that Vigil Cloaker is going to make it even harder to find out where he is. They might know that he's in the vicinity just due to popping that ability. But they definitely do not know that he's in Piano Room. So pushing up into green could be a devastating mistake right now.
Keep in mind that Lagers does have a drone in study now. Peak of death coming out. Kiwi getting that shot on a Goose Midi. That's going to get opening engagement yet again, going in favor of Ohio Northern University. Another peak coming out, but not getting the kill. Lagers is going to get shut down. Diaz going to get that kill in their name. Now 3v5. We've seen this before. Didn't work out for Purdue last time. We'll see if they're able to clutch it up a little bit better here. But they're in a lot of pressure with only a little over a minute remaining.
Now W is in this position to be opening up the floor, but Mila has been waiting and watching for that for quite a while. He's going to get that headshot through the floor, and so quickly he's evened it up. It's the 3v3 on either side. Not quite the same game that they were looking at last time they were on Aviator, since they were able to mop up after that almost disastrous roam game that we just saw.
Yeah, trying to make up for the lack of bodies by taking out some bodies on the other side. So it's exactly what this game is all about. Now, a lot harder for these attackers to get and execute. They don't have the control that they want, and they certainly don't have the body advantage they're probably going to rely on in the later part of this round. Flash is coming through. Providence is here. Keep in mind, I mentioned Lagers did get a drone on that Mozzie, so they have a drone here on top of where Providence is looking at, so it could feed that information. And Hangman getting a kill on Diaz is going to only help them further. The swing is coming through, and they're looking the wrong way. Kiwi taking down Toxicity there, at least to get the refrag, but still in a 1v2 now with 15 seconds remaining. That's going to be a lot to do. Bodies just have to play for their lives at this point, because this really doesn't even have the planter. Doesn't matter. Hangman's going to get that kill, and Purdue are able to strike back.
Hangman gets a couple here, just watching into study and picking those up, making sure to try and keep Providence alive for as long as possible. I think we may have a glitch with one of our players actually getting booted from the lobby there after Purdue finally managing on this half to go up one round first, but it's still back and forth rounds all the way down for these 9 rounds that we've seen.
Yeah, unfortunately, gonna need to do the rehost. Player wasn't able to rejoin the lobby, so we'll have to take just a little bit of a break from the matchup to allow that lobby to be recreated, get everyone in, get restarted. But hey, it's been back and forth. We do see Purdue just won 2 rounds in a row, so that's good for them. Now they have a little bit of momentum, but with this rehost, which is on their side, one of their players couldn't return, is kind of unfortunate timing because that really could have actually been things picking up for them, getting 2 rounds in a row. But here, this might just stop it dead, put us back at restarting at 0-0 almost.
Yeah, well, anyways, we'll go to a quick break here. Don't tune away. We'll just be a couple minutes.
All right, here we go. Right back in. Rehost is pretty quick, luckily, so we're able to remember all the details, get us right back in the action. We did just see Purdue win 2 rounds in a row, meaning the upstairs sites are both locked out. So I assume we're going to be going to dining and kitchen. Indeed, it is. I guess we're being asked to go to caster cams for a quick bit, so I wonder if we'll do that quickly. As we do see some settings come out from our observer, I'm sure that we just don't want to be watching that.
Pretend you didn't see that. There's no settings. We never have to change anything.
We never change anything. Yes, it's always perfect. No problems here. That rehost never happened.
Oh yeah, keep it all backstage behind the curtain. It's
attention to the man behind the screen.
Yeah, big shout out to Michael and Tofu there behind the scenes, actually orchestrating all that stuff, since we're sort of the microphones for all the work that they're doing as well. So big shout out to those guys. And back into it. It's 5-4. As you said, Purdue is ahead right now. They're going to be going downstairs. They're mixing it up a little bit, not going for the kitchen objective, actually. Oh, no, never mind. I just got myself turned around. They are going exactly for the kitchen objective. And they're bringing Castle this time. 2 FBI operators, in fact. We've seen a little bit more Castle down here recently in tandem with this as well.
Yeah, it's understandable that you were a little confused, you know, because these teams have been going round and round, back and forth. So with all the twistings and turnings, you know, it could be a little dizzy. In any case,
10 seconds.
we're gonna be seeing they're bringing that Jackal again. Last time didn't net too much because they didn't go
5
for the
seconds
roam
left
clear with him. He
before
was
insertion.
with the main people pushing, and it didn't gleam anything with
Attackers
it, really.
objective is
So I'd like to
Did
see
end
that
up
be
walking right
utilized.
into Hangman.
Yeah, I just hope it's utilized a little bit better, I suppose, with positioning. I understand he has a really good gun, so it could just be for fragging purposes, but his gadget really is useful, so hopefully they're able to net something from it this round. For their sake. Obviously, I don't have any care about which team wins this. I just want a good
Yeah.
game, which we got so far.
Yeah, and ONU is looking to aggress directly on a site right here, which is exactly what Providence has been hoping for. He's got a couple of ADSs right here. He's going to be firing off his pistol, trying to catch a couple drones here, or maybe even a little bit of flesh if he can. But it's going to be really coming down to probably the FO12 shotgun and his other slot in the inventory ready for anyone to actually
Attackers
push
have
up and
located a
break down
bomb.
the rest of that barricade and try and get into his laundry room. He's basically protective of his clothes.
So the Ying being brought again, and last time I think they were shut down pretty early. The Ying Candelas, I don't remember one
don't think
bringing
anyone
out. So the peek out from Providence with the shotgun isn't going to net anything. He's going to back up really quickly. Our feed is having a little bit of an issue here, but all bodies alive at least. So we're able to get that much information.
Providence just keeps poking the Bears, though, going out a second time, and, ooh, I think maybe going down here. No, it's Mila who actually ends up getting killed off by Quicks. Well, Providence just keeps poking right here. The flashbangs are going to come in, and he pushes up once again.
Unsure of what's happening on our end, but now we get the feedback. Hangman and Laggers each getting one. Quick's getting a second kill for the round. That's going to put them in a 2v2, so each side having the same amount of bodies. Plenty of time, too. Only a minute and a half has elapsed, so halfway through the round, but both of these bodies of the defenders are holding cross angles. They're aware of the push coming through the laundry room. It's going to be a game of information. Can these attackers start to glean the positions of the defenders?
Yeah, whittling down the numbers of the defenders is definitely going to be in the advantage of attackers, but they don't have too many drones. They've got one placed by Quicks and two more that Kiwi actually has available, but they're going to have to stay out of some gunfights long enough to get the intel and hone in on the locations of Hangman and Goose Smitty are in. Hangman's been on an absolute tear, especially after winning those last couple rounds, so they're going to have to be wily to catch him first.
Right. I said a transition in their role could have been what they needed. It looks like it is because they've been really good the last few rounds, like you mentioned. Going for an adjustment, switching over towards the stock area and stairs. So interesting to see, but the Sankyo is going to be giving it away. He's going to go for the peak. Kiwi getting a TK. Unfortunate timing for them. The swing is going to come through, but no bodies being found from either of these two players yet. A little bit of a dance going on. Kiwi going to push up. He's aware that the other body might be pushing up against him too, but they've played back now. He's not sure where their bodies are. He's going to go for the swing, but Goose Smitty shuts him down, and that's going to be a third in a row for Purdue, getting the full rotation of sights, coming alive a little bit more on the defense.
Yeah, I don't think it can be overstated here how that role changed for Goose Smitty has really, or for Hangman has really changed up these rounds. That's 3 in a row where he's really standing out, getting hugely impactful kills. And Purdue is already on match point. It's been tit for tat back and forth rounds until Purdue out of nowhere getting these 3 in a row on their defense. And it's not been smooth sailing through those 3 rounds, but they are definitely turning a different cheek.
Yeah, this is Purdue Gold's map pick. Just to point that out. So this is the map that they wanted to go first, and since they're first seed, they're the first choice there. So seeing them dominate isn't super surprising, but ONU certainly probably kicking themselves. They had it pretty close, and they've let the last 3 rounds go. So that's a lot of momentum that they've lost now and given to the other side. So they need to obviously put their foot down here.
Attackers need to
There's one more
locate
round,
and
as you mentioned.
defuse
This map will
bombs.
be won, and we'll move on to map 2, which will be their map choice at the very least. So there's some silver lining there. But still, you'd like to get an upset in map 1 here against the top seed team to put yourself in a really good position. But if they don't, you know, it's not the end of the world, but you do have to start being a little concerned of how your map is going to go then.
Rialku, is Providence playing the first smoke of this map so far? I don't think I recall seeing another one at all up until this point. It's going to be a lot of shields for the
located
defense
by
right now, right?
attackers.
Stop worrying about grenades.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't quite recall. I think you're probably
10
right,
seconds left.
Dink, but you know,
It just
my
seems so
memory.
weird
I'm a
to-
boomer brain, so I don't have the
Oh,
best
no.
memory. So don't always ask me things because I'll be like, or no,
Oh,
and even though I don't actually have a good answer. But But as you mentioned, a lot of shields. Goyle being brought in tandem with that smoke. At least 3 shields here, and plenty of things to defend them. They got the Wamai Jaeger combination that we've seen before, and now the Ying is going to be just needing a lot of help with the utility clear. We do see plenty of smokes being brought from both the Ying, and of course that Jackal does have that available and bringing them. So, I mean, plenty of projectiles to be thrown. We have the Zofia, and then of course the Nomad here who has 3 flashbangs as well. So they still could clear it out and get these shields taken care of, but it takes a lot of teamwork to do that, and it puts you in some dangerous positions if you're not careful.
Oh my god, it's the Ying Rush. ONU really going out on a limb right here. That's going to be a little rough with Purdue really being situated up on their shield so far. It has gotten them all the way into master bedroom, pushing up onto bathroom as well. But those smoke babes are going to come out early, really stimmying that charge that they're looking to get off right off the bat. The Mute Jammer also doing its job, keeping the ace charges from actually doing their job. Selmas have been mitigating themselves. Toxicity is going to be getting the window angle to try and open up some more avenues for ingress there for the team. And the smoke babes are starting. Well, the second one is starting to dissipate. One more is still up, and Purdue is holding ground steadfastly in the face of all of this utility that's in the ground.
I like the discipline of not over peeking. Sometimes you see some teams do it because they're like, I know their position, I can get the kill here, and then they just get completely slapped down. The Ying is actually going to be, I think, flashing a little bit of their own teammate there. W taking a lot of damage as well. They're trying to just dislodge this player in Astro behind the shield, but they're just not able to do so. And they're even trying to shoot the other shield that's between the 2 sites in the split area, but not able to do that either, just based on the angles being held. So this defense is really stemming this attack. They're just trying to get these utilities cleared out, but they're not able to do so. The quick swing doesn't work out. Hangman's ready for it. W going to be the first to fall in this round, and now only a minute remaining. They're down a body, and everyone seems to be stacking up near the Astro area. Slaggers, though, going to peek up and get a double kill there, only helping his defense further. Now only 2 more bodies to go, and they'll win this map. Providence getting 1, and now Toxicity on the window of Astro, all alone in a 1v5. It looks hopeless.
Toxicity really needs to be the one to get that opening kill and get the player. Oh no.
Oh, really?
Well, no flawless round with Laggers jumping out, get himself killed, but there's the double jump out. Hangman's going to be the one finishing it off here with that final intel on exactly where Nomad's going to be. That's Purdue Gold taking it pretty quickly there after they got their ball rolling in these last 4 rounds.
Yeah, good map from Purdue. Obviously, really good job from Ohio. Last time I mentioned they averaged 7 to 2.5 rounds lost. So this time, obviously, looking better in the amount of rounds that they can take. The last time they had taken a total of 5 rounds over 2 maps against them, they've already gotten 4 here. So obviously showing that they have improved. They have looked at the work. They got a good split half, but unfortunately on their attack, then just not able to have the same level of success. But again, wasn't their map choice. So don't want to over exaggerate what that means, because they certainly could come out here on their map choice, map 2, in just a moment. We'll be right back.
We are back. I'm still Treasure, and I'm still joined by the ever-present Suiyaku. He goes with me everywhere I go. I don't know. He just follows me, it feels. We are continuing grand finals here with Purdue Gold and ONU. First map goes in favor of Purdue. We're headed to Bank for number 2.
Yeah. Oh, and use map choice. They're gonna start an attack, which we've seen Bank has switched. It used to be more attacker sided. Now I really don't know because I've seen so many matches just go one way or the other. I think it's defender sided, but I just really couldn't tell you because sometimes I see some teams just dominate an attack too. So it's an odd map. I think it's still being filled out to a certain degree. It's obviously a lot more comfortable for teams now that they've had time. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have to see how this matchup goes. Statistics can only get us so far with what we know. It's really up to these two teams to show us what the can't speak, right? Statistics will be at the end of the day. All right, I think we're ready to jump in though. So let's just go ahead and get into Bank, see what these operator bands will be. But we've talked about this before. They're not usually much different, right? From map to map. So Thatcher's probably gonna be banned. Cade, Mira, Valk, and then on attack it could be hard breach, it could be Flores, but like there are standard things, so I don't see anything super surprising coming out in this ban phase. So I'm more going to be looking at site setups. What can they throw at the other team, and those bans at least will affect that, right? Do you have a Cade to help keep hatches closed?
Yeah, that can be really valuable. So I think that's the most interesting one to be looking for. The Mira is pretty typically taken away. The one thing that we do have to reflect on how this might go. Purdue Gold did take their map choice. This map is going to be ONU's map choice for what that will be worth. Ibana, the first one being taken off, that's a hard breacher, just like you suggested it might be. She's really valuable for taking out those hatches, and with her being
available
off the board, yeah, Thatcher will be available. We'll see what they do with that. It's been, even with Thatcher being up for grabs, it's not to come that I even see him being picked in those situations, because a lot of teams just don't bother practicing with him at this point because he's a sure ban in most situations. Valkyrie being the other one is going to leave us with some interesting options because Mira or Kaid is going to be up. The Kaid's going to be pretty dangerous to leave lying around, though, when the sides are going to switch here. Purdue has been given the choice to leave it up for their first half of defense. And they will. They're getting rid of the Echo, in fact. So this is a little bit more curious than I was expecting. Nothing insane, but definitely eyebrow raising.
So we've seen before, but I was completely wrong. So I'm going to admit that I was completely wrong. I did not foresee a Thatcher going through here, and that makes it way more interesting. So I'm happy to be wrong in this case, right? This is one of those situations where I'm happy to be wrong. Prove me wrong. Here we go. Thatcher's on the board, and you mentioned Cade and Mira both on the board. Very interesting. Now, what you're going to see possibly play now will be wait for the Thatchers to go off and then do a Cade trick because now they don't have the Hibanas. So you're going to be waiting either for some different aces to come through, which, if they throw two at the same time, you'll probably catch the second one, or a thermite, which you might be able to get it in time to get that thermite. So that's the cat and mouse game I'm going to be watching out for, the utility game.
I was about to say that the Maverick might be one of the most valuable things to have with the Kaid being up, but immediately they're going to be six picking off of the Maverick specifically for the Ying. I think this is going to be more of a lateral take, trying to go in through server more likely so that they don't have to deal with the hatches nearly as much. Purdue immediately booking for the stairs and looking to do their offsite setups before anything else.
Yeah, no hard breach gadgets being brought except for that ace, I believe. So that's going to, as you mentioned, limit their options. A server push seems likely. These hatches are going to be really hard to open up if they even try it, but the Cade isn't actually being brought. So, I mean, it does leave that availability at one hatch, and then you still have one ace charge remaining.
10 seconds
We're going
left
to be
before
seeing
insertion.
the smoke and Maestro being brought, so they have two potential ways
5
of
seconds
denying
left
a
before
plant.
insertion.
I suppose the Maestro might just be there for more information than plant denial. And then they also got the Castle, who I'm excited. I don't know, did you see the buff that should be coming to him probably halfway through the season?
Honestly, I've seen that there might be one, but I haven't seen what it is yet. I haven't done the full reading.
It, like, when you put his barricades up, it'll automatically rip down the old barricades, like the wooden ones for you. You don't have to rip them down and then put up the castle anymore.
Very
which
nice.
would be a really good quality of life adjustment.
Yeah. We love to see it. Castle deserves more than he's gotten ever. The attackers already know where that Maestro camp is. It's going to be pretty easy for them to get rid of it there. But it's going to be more of a matter of getting up to it and even to a projectile launchable range. Like Quicks being in the general vicinity. And they do say that there are roamers out here. It's a really heavy roamed defense right now. So there's going to be a lot of pressure to deal with. It's going to further hurts ONU for not going for much hard breach because they're gonna have to be fighting through the whole roster of Purdue.
I was wrong. The Ying actually brought hard breach. She didn't bring smokes, which, I guess you don't have to when you have a Jackal and a Gridlock who can both bring it. So they could get the hatches here, and it explains why they're going for this push. But Hangman getting that kill onto W is going to slow them down a bit. That's the Jackal. You can't ping them any further on this roam, so you're going to have to just use your eyeballs or regular drones. There's no Iana either to help out, so it's all going to be on their drone work here. And they're down to just 4 drones in pocket now.
Eggman out here starting out the round for his team, but he's got a lot of resources. He's got all of his ADSs placed up there for him and hatches that have been newly installed. Oh, are going to be perfect for keeping him up there. Langers has been pinged for a while. There's nothing that's going to stop him from just swinging out there. Similar to how Hangman is just going to be absolutely annihilated by Kiwi, who's just been watching down that angle. So both of those roamers that have gotten kills already are going to be removed. Is that a default cam still sitting up there?
Could be. Could be. Sometimes we see it, unfortunately. I will say that was seemingly unnecessary from the side of Purdue. They had the defense going well. They had 2 kills and had lost no bodies, and then they just let them take 2 back, and now it's back to even man count. At least they bought enough time. There's only a minute remaining. And keep in mind, even if they're able to drop safely down, they have to push the site because Vault is not the site. So despite them having maybe a free drop here, potentially, it might not even be that way. But even if they do, they still have a lot of ground to take from there. So I still think this is much to the advantage of Purdue, but it could easily fall against them if they're not careful. Providence, though, getting that opening engagement in the second half here. He's going to find 2. Now it's all up to Toxicity. He's going to find him, but now in a 1v2 with only 30 seconds remaining. Again, not near sight. Goose Midi can get him, and Purdue get the opening round of this map.
That is yet another interesting round as more like just like you said, Bank is still being figured out. It's a little unclear, so it's hard to read what your opponents are going to be doing, especially with teams like these, where they're both pulling out interesting little stops, trying to keep ahead of each other. And throughout last map, we saw Purdue really getting ahead. I think that was really evidenced by the final round, where ONU went for a really off-the-wall play, going for that rush, and Purdue suddenly switched it up and went really heavy with the deployable shield use, which is something that they hadn't pulled out yet on the prior map. And it was the perfect counter to that rush strategy that ended up being pulled out. So this one, both teams doing some kind of curious things, and it results in ONU getting stuck in the main lobby with the majority of their roster for a long time.
Yeah, really didn't know how to clear and were gifted some bodies. I'm gonna say I think that was pretty much a gift. I think they probably could have got that player playing in Teller's area, but I think that Jaeger pushing up was just a really bad misplay. I'm just gonna say it. I don't usually criticize too harshly, but that was probably should have just played your life there. Didn't need to rush
Yeah, you
out
did
there.
have a safe drop even in elevator.
Right, exactly. So really didn't that was too aggressive, but it didn't matter at the end, right? His team still won because they had set up a really good, successful situation with only 1 minute remaining, and then they're going to have to drop through Vault. So really good job, well done. I think that's what we'll see more of, simply because you left a Thatcher available, meaning walls can get open more than likely. So what are you going to do to mitigate that problem? Let's just extend hardcore all over the map. Buy as much time as possible. Make them work, get some drones, and then time will be our 6th man. We're going to win on that. And that's exactly what we saw round 1. We'll see if they're able to continue it, because that is the basement site. They don't have the exact same luxuries when they go above.
Yeah, extensions from basement are a lot more productive for a defense than upstairs, which is likely going to be the next objective gone to. And second floor is going to play really differently for the attackers as well. Clearing out from lobby is going to be just as fraught with danger as the basement. But pushing up by box, for example, is going to come with its own challenges of fighting vertically and dealing with those runners who are probably going to be playing in that area, especially by the janitor hallway, pretty heavily.
Do you want to point out, too, that in the last map, it was tick for tech, but that was only on that one half, and that was when ONU was on defense. On their attack is where they really suffered a lot. It's because they couldn't keep up with the aggressive holds, and they really didn't seem to have the drone work or the utility clearance that they needed. I'm just going to highlight in that last round on last map. For example, we saw that the Nomad was on the Astro window, throwing her flashbangs in, burning that utility. We never saw that Zofia come over and try and clear out the 2 Goyo shields in Astro. It was kind of a questionable play. I'm not trying to pick on a team, but I'm just saying that's the difference that I have seen between these 2 teams is the attacking side Purdue look a little bit well structured compared to their adversaries. And so I think if ONU wants to get a foothold, this is their map. They have to show us that they are capable of that teamwork, of that synergy, and of making quick decisions, because sometimes they just stall out.
Yeah, I mean, this last round was really an example of that. We saw a lot of castle barricades still sitting up there and still adding a lot of value to the defense because they're cutting off all these rotations that could be used by the attackers once they'd killed off the two defenders there. Just a quick little explosive, like from the Zofia, just a couple of impact charges would open up the movement all the way into records room and even by the elevator hallway going down the stairs. Then it could have given them another avenue for the attack if they hadn't stalled out so much time.
Well, we do see that they are going to be trying tellers in archive. So again, this is a site you could kind of do that upstairs hold, get some extension, try and buy more time that way. But at the very least, it's a lot easier to access the site itself because there's obviously the first floor. So some doorways and such lead right
Defenders,
to
protect
lines
your
of sight
bombs
onto
from
the
being
site
defused by
versus
attackers.
trying to clear up above and then going down below. You don't necessarily have to do that. We'll see exactly how ONU want to play this on their attack. What push are they going to go? But if they do go from a front lobby push, I hope they do it a slight bit different because last time they were just completely shut down.
They're going to be bringing a lot of roam clear here. Gridlock's going to be doing some stuff to stop and slow down any flanks, so that's going to be really looking at those roamers, and definitely along with Ryan and Jackal, both those operators custom tuned for making sure it's going to slow down and stop the movement of roamers. That way they can clear them out. So I think it's going to be really key how the roamers are dealt with, because Purdue's even just two roamers, Mila and, or sorry, Hangman and Goose Smitty there. I think it's Laggers and Goose Smitty did a lot of work on last round.
True. The line that does have the potential to bring hard breach, right? I'm not like insane, right? Am I remembering that properly?
Yes.
Was it? Yeah, I thought it wasn't a claymore for these other gadgets, but they are bringing the flashbangs. I just wanted to highlight that there's a possibility that they did bring another op besides just the ace, but that is the only hard breach they're going to have available to them. So keep that in mind. It could be important later on. Looking at the attack, they're going to get on window repel, something we didn't see last time. So now they're going to be splitting up a little bit all over the map, trying to see what ground they can gain. 3, hopefully, for them, right? Take what the defense gives you. Oh, that drone, unfortunately, throwing it off a little bit, so it's going to take them a little bit of time to recover that, get it into the position they want. Pulse, though, on the defense is going to feed a lot of information.
Yeah, hurting on time already. Just a small mistake like that drone could cost a lot coming down to the bottom of the round later on. But ONU, they're really taking that intel game to heart, making sure they get as much ground covered here in this initial wave as they can. They've got a lot of operators that are going to be able to spend time on it before they get into the building. They've even got control into the second floor admin office, which is going to be pretty valuable. They don't know about Providence down here, though, and Providence has gotten some sneaky and really powerful kills already even in this map.
Well, half the round elapsed. They have no ground gained, really, on the attack. And again, stalling out, like we had talked about being a potential problem. They also have already lost 3 different drones at the very least. I haven't seen any other ones necessarily get shot out, but they've lost 3 drones during that time and didn't gain anything from those either. So a lot of time and a lot of utility already being lost and not gaining much for it. Now the Pulse, again, going to feed that information. C4's going to go out, but it did not net a body. They were just in the wrong positions there. Probably should have just relied on that Pulse to tell them when to click it rather than just being a quick trigger on it. It's going to end up wasting a bit of utility there. Hangman, though, going to get that opening kill on to Quicks. This push is starting to come through now. W going to find the refrag. Laggers getting one, getting refragged by W. So back and forth we go. 3v3. Only 50 seconds remaining for these attacks.
That is definitely costly here on the time. They are finally getting pressure all the way down through the box, though. The smokes being on the board is really terrifying with 50 seconds left. They're going to be stuck upstairs, though. Kiwi has the opportunity, a little bit of intel. He's going to work exactly on that and take Providence out. Now we're left with only Mila, who's out of position to keep throwing those smoke babes into the site unless he's going to have to show his face here for a second. He doesn't know where that plant's going down, but I think he's got intel that it should be at the very least. Now he's definitely going to know that there are 2 players over here on this side to be dealing with. He's going to take out Kiwi, but he's still got to find toxicity.
Yep, 1v1 situation now. 2 smoke babes still in pocket, so could throw those out. And that's going to be the first one being done. But it's shot out of the air. Unfortunate for them now. They have to start pushing. They're losing out on time a little bit here. They have a shotgun available to them, but they don't pull it out. Toxicity shuts them down. And that's going to be the return thrown right back at them. 1-1 apiece now. ONU coming out and trying to let this not slip away like they did last map.
ONU definitely hurting in the early round, especially for time, being forced into that 2v2 position, rushing into site without any intel. Not where they want to be, but they just win the gunfights to get in.
Right, and Purdue had the advantage there. The pulse below did feed the information of where that push. They bodied up. They all came through that direction, and yet they could not capitalize on the information. That's the key there. I would say Purdue missing out on an opportunity. I do think, though, that the push and the decisive nature of which they decided just to do it, they realized that they were not in a good situation. So good job from ONU at least realizing we just have
Attackers
to
need
make this
locate
happen, and they did.
defuse as many bombs as they can.
We're going to see, though, that now it's going to be going back to the same site. So what can they do differently? Unfortunately, they aren't showing me that they've changed up
Bomb
things too much.
located by
I think they're
attackers.
bringing the exact same operators. So it's not looking great on the side of Purdue, at least as far as change-ups. But, you know, maybe they realized last time they had that information. They had the pulse. They just didn't get it, and they lost the gunfights. So they're probably feeling pretty confident that they can switch around the result from last time into a net positive.
We have seen them do a lot to change up how rounds played just by moving around, shuffling their players, and not just where they put the stuff, using the same operator lineup to get a very different result. So we'll see how they react to ONU coming in. ONU is, once again, bringing a pretty different lineup. They're sticking that Ying and the gridlock, but more soft destruction coming in from W. That's going to recognize the need for opening up more of that floor. He's going to be in direct contention with Providence, though, who is shotgunning that same floor from below.
On the windows again, I netted him a kill in that first round, but unfortunately after that, I haven't seen too much of the window play do a lot of good, and they end up going on the windows off to, I believe it would be the south side of the map, and it didn't really do anything, and they end up pushing from the complete opposite direction in through stock. So that's interesting to see that they're constantly moving around the map, but last time it didn't end up costing them too much. That is actually perfectly placed by the ace. It's going to allow them to take care of the, I believe the bulletproof that was on the wall also was taken out with that. So that's really good placement of utility, getting a cheeky angle to stop it from them shooting it off.
Yeah, and that's going to totally remove Hangman from his position. He's had to drop this time through the elevator shaft, which is going to keep him alive quite a bit longer, as you're going to notice by having all 10 players still on the board. Mila once again playing pretty off-site, looking to hole up on that box corridor. Meanwhile, on the other side, Goose Meaty getting some intel, which is about to be pretty valuable as Purdue or as ONU is pushing towards main stairs.
Well, things in a little bit of a lull as we now see W push up. He is on that sledge roll. We pinged out from the bulletproof cam. He's aware of it. He has that sledgehammer, so these castle barricades will be taken care of pretty quickly. It's just a matter of time and making sure you have the information you want. But there it is. The problem with it is that that bulletproof gave the information, and Lager's able to capitalize on it with a really dirty angle. They're trying to pre-fire him, get him cleaned up from here, but he's going to swing out and get quicks. That's a double now on the round to open things up for his team. ONU now falling a little bit by the wayside. They have to start picking it back up and need to act quickly. Only a minute remaining.
Hangman removed from his position, but Lager's flourishing in his over here. Mila goes down to toxicity on the box hallway here, which is going to open up the ability to actually pinch down from main stairs and start getting more angles on Lagers, making it easier to actually secure that kill. He's going to be slowly pushed up on by the attackers down there, but he's ready for it. He's peeking, but the UMP is just not going to suit him in this situation. Chaos getting the kill from behind. In the end, that pinch coming out perfectly. Site is still pretty packed, though, with defenders, so ONU has got a lot of work to do now.
Well, the Yings are going to at least allow them to have some protection pushing in here, but the wall bang from Hangman, that's going to delete Baez off of the face of the earth, and now a 3v2. The swing coming up from Kiwi, though, can get that kill onto Hangman, so evening it up a little bit. They only have a few seconds, though, 14 seconds remaining. They're going for the plant. The player who's supposed to be guarding him is not actually inside yet, and that's going to allow Guzman to actually get that kill onto Kiwi. Providence also finishing it off, getting that shotgun shot into Toxicity's body, and Purdue are managing to hold out.
A round that was just so close for ONU, and it just came down to not having the right line of sight to protect the plant. It was so close. That's really frustrating to see.
It was a good attempt. Unfortunately, time didn't favor them in the dying moments there, and well, a really good wall bang from Hangman also didn't help their cause any further. Obviously, allowing them to have that man advantage at least for a short while, but it was just long enough. they were able to hold out. And honestly, the gridlock not just being in the right position there did cost them a bit. Could have covered the plant, potentially won it, but they were not inside yet. So the plant came out a little prematurely, but you just didn't have the time, which is why we're so critical of them taking a little bit longer on Ohio, the northern
Attackers
side.
need to locate
Is
and
just right
defuse
there.
bombs.
Could have won had they had just a little more time.
Basement now. This is where Purdue got their first round. It's their preferred objective, of course. It's a really nice one. You're not going to be dealing with pressure from both above and below here. You can just focus on that up top. And with still not too much hard breach coming out from ONU, the hatches aren't going to be a huge concern for them. And their roam has really been serving Purdue very well.
Purdue have been pretty successful with that. We were a little critical last map in that first round of defense that they had lost because they had lost bodies within the first like 30 seconds.
Bomb
So that
located
wasn't
by
great. But
attackers.
so far, that
5
was
seconds
only
to go.
an outlier, as they haven't really lost bodies that quickly
Attackers are
since
heading
then
out to defuse
in
the
the
bomb.
opening engagement. Not really, at least. Or if they have, I haven't noticed because they probably got like a refrag or something, so I didn't highlight it too much. Either way, they're going to be downstairs, like you said. They won relatively easily because of just how much time their roamers were able to take off in that first round. And obviously they lost a couple bodies, but in the end it wasn't really that close. So they're hoping to have some success here, and the castle being brought every round just shows you how important that is.
It's kind of sad to see that ONU is still having problems getting through those castle barricades even when they took the sledge previously. They dropped him from the roster this time after not getting too much out of it. W now going for Finka. He's going to get the grenade still, which is pretty valuable. He ended up dying to not having a way to engage with a bulletproof camera last round, but there's just not going to be too many explosives for getting through those. And right now, they're facing up against one of those castle barricades pretty directly in open area.
This is amazing work from Gusmity. I don't think we talk about it necessarily enough. Wow, a nice shot coming out, but not landing the kill. That could have been an easy kill actually on Delaggers. He's not aware of that position of these attackers. He's going to do a little bit of wall damage to repay the favor, but I want to go back to Gusmity over here. I think he shot 5 drones, perhaps, or maybe even more. Look at the drone economy. 3 different players with 2 X's below next to the drone. That shows 6 drones gone. Twix also missing a drone, and I'm not sure about W. He's on 1 drone at least.
Oh my god,
both of his drones
one
done
drone
too. So
left with
this
him.
drone economy just completely ruined by Gusmity.
Wow, the defense probably has more drones right now than the attackers after Smitty's drones have been, or has used his pest to steal those. Laggers is going to be the first one going down here, finally, after all that pressure. W getting a nice kill there using the 308 rifle to his advantage, but it's only going to do so much for you. You got to get downstairs from here. There's still plenty of roamers around watching the drop points, as we're going to be seeing right here. Hangman and Goose Smitty keeping these double angles. They're going to see that explosion going out and just waiting like trapdoor spiders.
Well, Mila getting a kill on the Kiva is going to help them. Gusmity going to drop down and escape. Mila finding a second one as well. So many bodies being found in blue. And they're going to continue to maintain that man advantage, not getting any returned frags against them now. 4v2 for the defenders. 40 seconds remaining. Toxicity and Quicks. We've seen these two have some really stellar moments, but they're going to need a miraculous one here, honestly. The Fuser is not even with them, so they have a lot to do in 30 seconds.
Yeah, Quick's just going to have to be pushing down main stairs. They know that the hatches are not going to be friendly to them. The gridlock trying to keep one of them placed in that little closet right there, but Toxicity is just placing this back and forth gun battle. He's going to take one out, but he's hurting 4 HP, and he knows more could come
10
from
seconds
first
to go.
floor. 10 seconds left. It's probably not even going to be possible to get down to the last floor, especially with the player pushing up, and Mila gets yet another kill on the round. Purdue starting to run away.
And on the back of Gusmity shooting so many drones, they're in a situation of 5v5. They get 1 kill. Okay. But then there's players playing in the closet room with someone above. They even have a pressure point from the other side in archives, and yet no information to act on. They could have wallbanged that player had they had a drone, but guess what? All the drones were shot. This is why it's so important to have drones available and not use them all up. If you use them, you need to have an even exchange, usually meaning a body needs to be found for at least every couple of drones. And hopefully for every drone. That would be the utopian idea, right? But that usually doesn't happen that way. Either way, 9 drones gone within the first half with no
Attackers
bodies
need to
being found
locate and defuse
is just
bombs.
an absolute destroyer of a round for an attack.
Huge
A
win.
huge win on the other
Jeff.
side too, right? Don't want to always be negative. Great job coming up from Pretty Gold. But also a bit of a misplay to just throw drones at someone who's just eating them up.
Yeah, Goose Mini was just loving that, I'm sure. Just didn't do exactly what he's doing best right there. And he's not even the one that ended up dying first. It was Laggers who sort of died for his sins right there. So he's able to just keep going and keep holding more and more angles and even taking out a player that tried to get in and get that drop.
10 seconds to insertion.
Well, now they get to go into the second floor.
5
They've
seconds
gone
left
1 and
before
1, I believe, on this bomb site. But it's actually going to be the open area.
Attackers are heading out to defuse
a little
the
bit
bomb.
removed from where they had been before in the tellers archives. And this was always a really interesting bomb site to me because you almost always have to have roamers above, have these hatches opened up, because if you don't, it's really hard to just maintain control. And we've seen them be really good about the extended hold, so I'm sure that that isn't a problem for Purdue Gold, but it does add a little bit of an element that I think most of us aren't used to viewing, because it's not normally how this game is played. Not often at least.
ONU stacking up over here by Garage pretty heavily. It looks like they're going to be pushing up main stairs. That's a little bit of an unexpected take for an unexpected bomb site.
The drone work coming through, at least they're having a body move after it. They have only lost 1 drone that I can see. I see toxicity on a drone, so I'm not sure about their bomb or drone count, but Quicks at least has lost 1. But that's at least better than where they were last round, so I'll take it. It's a victory in that sense. But they do need to start taking control a little bit faster. I know that they're pretty aware that these players on the Purdue like to play in weird areas, and especially outside of sight, but you can't let that slow you down completely. They've now gone towards the top of the server stairs, so now is a good time to have some of that drone work come out.
These stairs are the mission objective for ONU, but Purdue is almost on top of them with this. They already are looking at them. They got a couple players hard holding those angles, and while the drones are going to come out, it's going to be a matter of whether they see these little pixel peaks that are being held. Mila's still just watching, patient as ever. He's going to see something and finally giving away his location. And it's going to be a strange situation to put Quicks in, because Quicks now is even less interested in pushing that angle, but he's going to have to do it sooner rather than later.
Well, again, stalling out a little bit here for Ohio Northern. They're going to need some pressure from somewhere, but they've opted to go up 2 different staircases from the basement without any pressure from above. So these players above can play wherever they would like, and that is the main problem I see with this push. So not trying to be too critical, though. They still have a chance to make it happen, but again, time fading away for them as they only have a minute to play with. Now 3 bodies stacking up in the server stairs. This could be a disaster, or it could really work out if they're able to push in and get on to site. They're going to have to get through, I believe, Mila playing there in the top of the balcony area.
The same pattern is playing out once again. Mila finally getting that drone. His location has been found out, but the players didn't push up from blue stairs. They're still stuck, having to finally just push like do or die right now. They're going to get Mila finally, but it's going to take 2 bodies on this side. 2 players left for the attackers against the 3. Gusmiti's still been feeding information to his teammates. It's going to come down to a couple frantic gunfights. And as long as one of these Purdue members stays alive in the last 15 seconds, they're going to be fine. Brum's taking some nasty little angles with the shotgun, but he doesn't quite find that kill he's looking for. Quake still looking to have to clear out a barricade before even getting into the kitchenette of sight. Yui is left all alone. Now he's going to get 1 and 2 himself, leaving just Laggers to find him. He's got a red ping, and it's going to have to spook him off there. So Laggers does get to win it out in the end. A little bloodier than we might have expected, but time, once again, is just so heavily on Purdue's side.
A valiant effort, to be sure, but again, like you said, they have to contend with another body in the sense that they had a 6-man in the time. And that's unfortunate because it just goes to show that if they were a little more aggressive, they could win those gunfights. We see it happen because it surprises Purdue a little bit when they jump out like that with multiple bodies. So they're able to get that trade. But if they had got that trade on Mila a little earlier, they certainly could have pushed site earlier too, right? You lose one and you take out the only body really contesting you. And had they done that earlier, the body, which was the mute down in Archives, might not even been there. They had just rotated to that position relatively recently. So had they just done the exchange with Mila, like what ended up playing out earlier. So that's constantly the caveat for me with Ohio Northern. It's always, had they done this thing earlier, they could have put themselves in an advantage, but they decided to take too long. And that's the real crux of the problem for them on their attacks. Now, it could be a problem for Purdue too. We don't know how it's going to play on the other half, but certainly they at least want to get 2 rounds to at least get a normal 2-4 split for the attacking side, and then they can try and replicate the success of the defense.
Yeah, dominant on defense is what we've been seeing from Purdue already. These first 2 maps even. So, like you said, ONU has really got to show up on their defense to keep this map going for themselves after this split, after this round. They're mixing up their attack lineup once again. They've got the Jackal and the Ying again. Is what they've been using about half the time. And unfortunately, we haven't seen it, like, massively pay off in any way.
Well, we do see them starting to go above, and this is something they didn't do too much of. Someone's actually going to be on the skylight, some people maybe on the windows, and this is what they needed to do before, I believe, just because of the way that I saw it play out. These defenders are too comfortable above. They're able to play whatever positions they want. They need to have more pressure points above, clear them out, and then they can start getting closer to sight. And I think last time they didn't want to do that because they saw that on their kitchen defense when they did that, Purdue was able to just stomp them down. And so they're worried about a similar thing happening, right? Or like they wonder if they can do something similar, and it just hasn't paid off. But in any case, the pulse is available yet again for the defenders, and it's going to feed so much information.
Yeah, that vertical pressure is going to be really running right into the pulse, but it's what they need right now in order to deal with the rest of the roamers. Mila has finally been spooked out of that position, which is what Purdue needed last round minutes earlier. So with 1 minute down and the Janitor Closet player already gone, with the whole shield mitigated as useless and a couple alibi gadgets as well, that's going to be really big. Their possession is still getting live feeded, so a C4 in these next moments could really determine the course of this round.
Certainly, seeing all the bodies stacking up in janitors is going to allow them to play with their food a bit if they are able to do so convincingly. The problem could be that they just don't do it in a timely fashion, but there it is. Hangman pushing up, getting the aggression to pay off with that information, acting on it, not letting it go to waste. That's something that you like to see, something that Ohio hasn't done necessarily with their drone work. Utilizing the drones, but not getting kills for it. This one could be the first of many that they could find, though, if they can just get the kill on a Hangman. But he's able to escape with his life so far. Now going to be playing further back, but Quicks does get the kill on a Goose Midi, so at least they're doing pretty well. The quick recovery of the teammate will allow it to remain a 4v4, but a minute only remains now. At least they're a little bit further along than they have been in previous rounds, but they still have more work to do.
Hangman threw the whole round into question with that plank. It was beautiful, but he manages to weasel his way out of it. He doesn't get that second kill that could have really totally changed the round. ONU doing perfect damage control there and making sure that they get a trade there, and even res Quakes, which is really valuable, but they're still on the second floor. They haven't gotten any real intel on the first floor, so we can be running into a very similar situation once again. They're watching a lot of the same angles as last round, even with Mila taking the position up in blue, which is going to be making it almost impossible to push in from box.
Hangman getting another one. The quick swing out from Mila finds one. Not able to find the second. They're aware of his position. He has time to reload, but the kill is found. Triple kill from Hangman, though, able to take out that player. Now Toxicity in a 1v3 with 8 seconds remaining. He's put off his misery. Hangman with the quad, putting Purdue on top. A 5-1 half for them. Strong showing, hoping to take another map.
Well, yeah, they're speed running almost through this. They did lose round 2, but a 5-1 split on that defense. It's going to have to be a similarly oppressive defense from ONU, but with the way that Purdue just orchestrated the time management to always be on their side, ONU is going to have a steep hill to be climbing.
I did want to point out, and this is just, again, to highlight how much of an impact it has on a round. This is not to just keep bagging on ONU. This is not what I'm trying to point out. Why do we see a 5-1, right? Like, why is it so dominant for Purdue? And what they've done is they've been able to just take these drones that ONU has pushed in, and they haven't allowed themselves to be caught in a bad position while still being able to shoot those drones. You can have the information, but you can't act on it because we're going to be in very smart positions that you cannot kill us in. We are very confident in that. And that is what they did to perfection. Now ONU has a chance to see if they can do something similar, but it's going to take a lot of aggression, like controlled aggression. That's exactly what I would call Purdue's style of defense, and it was perfect considering the bands and the map that we are on.
All right, keeping up these noteworthy picks. ONU, they're playing so differently on defense from Purdue did, which is something interesting to note from the last match even. But the two of them were getting similar results on defense in such different ways. And you can see that right here from the operator lineup, bringing in Oryx. That's going to be really good for making use of the hatches. And with this being such a vertical hold on basement, he's going to potentially, and Quicks has been really on it on the last map at least, despite map 2 being a little bit rough for ONU so far, but Quicks had so much impact on the defense, really harrying the back line for Purdue, and Oryx is just the operator.
Providence on the flex row, playing the Malusi. We saw plenty on defense, and well, now also going to be playing that sledge on attack, the soft destruction. We've had an interview with them before, aware of a lot of their thoughts, and this is a matchup that they kind of saw coming to the 1 versus 2 seed. This is, I think, what Providence said he expected to face, and here they are, able and ready to take on the challenge of ONU varsity, and doing well so far. They could also be, taking a bit long. We see plenty of players on drones, but if you look at their drone count, here's the difference. The 3 or 4 bodies we see, each of them still has all of their drones.
Yeah, really making use of those. Oh no, Quick's barely missing one as we're on that topic right now. And Providence is moving up to try and execute on that intel and try and get rid of Quicks right here. And ooh, yeah, keeping them guessing. Purdue is seeing roamers come out from all directions. It's gonna keep paying off, but Goose Smitty is the one that gets the kill here in the end after that explosion, pushing him out of position.
That was perfectly timed. You just have your player on the rappel watching the only way they can escape from elevator, and you use a grenade to clear them out. Perfect teamwork. Love to see it. Purdue really good at that. Easy highlights for us to commentate on. I'm sure ONU has had their moments, just haven't maybe seen them as often. Obviously, plenty of things happen off of camera. Can't catch everything. Kiwi going to be watching for the drop down into open office area, so could be a disaster if Hangman went for it, but didn't choose to do so. The drone work paying off there. Gets a freebie onto W, deletes him off of the round, but going to be dropping down, and that's where Kiwi is able to pounce and get the instant reflag. Providence dropping down and actually does get that kill, somehow winning out a gunfight that they should not probably have won there, and now they have a 3-2 man advantage, and they still have a minute to go. Plenty of drones remaining as well, 5 in the pocket of the surviving members of the attack, where they can certainly get the information they need to make this a round success.
One of the biggest values here on ONU's defense is making sure that they get the refrag so consistently, and Kiwi even would have come out of there with a double kill if he'd had just another quarter of a second even before that drop coming out. Just didn't have the time. It's what he'd been watching for that whole time, but he leaves up his 2 teammates, Theos and Toxicity, hold up on site a little bit closer. There's a lot of angles to be checking for here, so it's going to be hard for Purdue. Mila getting the kill on Toxicity despite losing Providence. Providence probably won't be able to get res unless it's a post-plant scenario here. So Theos is pushing up, trying to secure on that. Oh, he's going to take out Mila, so Providence is all alone on the ground with Goose Smitty.
No!
Oh, as the last player up, but he gets from the
way.
right angle at the right time.
That timing was just unfortunate. Just looking the wrong way at the wrong time. And Purdue could have easily lost, could have been the clutch that ONU needed, and yet the timing cost them the round. And now, map point again for Purdue, this time a 6-1, showing up on their opponent's map, even more dominant than on their own map. So that's impressive. But ONU certainly feeling a little scared now. Dropped map 1, 7-4. Now could be a 7 or 7-4, yeah, and 7-1 here. You're going to go to map 3 with very little momentum on your side. They're going to need at least a couple rounds. Even if they lose the map, at least get to a more respectable point, win a couple rounds in a row here, get some confidence back so that map 3, you at least have something to stand on.
There's been a stunning lack of focus on the hatches. That's not what I would have expected going into this at all. A lot has changed on Bank, and I guess it's been serving Purdue just fine on their alternate side. They are bringing that Maverick, though. It's not going to be, again, as pivotal on this objective, but it's something that's really standing out. On the defense, ONU has that shield being brought by the war, and it's going to be an answer to a lot of flashbangs coming out, but it's not really something that Purdue has angled for on any rounds that we've seen so far. So it's probably going to end up just being another shotgun for the defense, which is not bad to have. They've got plenty of setup to do for this hold right here. They got the castle as well, setting up in some of the same locations as Purdue's did, and we saw that can be deadly effective.
Right, they're trying to take a little bit of a page from the book of Purdue's defenses, try and give them a taste of their own medicine, however we want to look at it. Certainly trying to emulate the successful buying time defense, but this is the difference. They're actually on the upstairs site doing this, and Hangman's going to be quickly just getting some eyes into sight, shooting out, I think, an ADS we just saw, so already netting some gains early on. This is the difference between these teams so far that I've noticed, just the decisive nature that Purdue has just been in any step of the matchup of a round, constantly being productive, constantly trying to take what they can.
3 once again. They don't need to rush up in this early section. They've gotten their pressure on to site, opening up admin office, opening up those windows, getting some players up there, and now they've got some luxury to start rotating around. They're getting some lobby control. W getting himself into a gunfight here as Mila is looking to open up with that first kill. That's just not quite helpful.
And not able to net the kill, but at least pushing that player away from that position. They were looking to get cheeky and do the classic look through the window, shoot the player on the rappel on the main bomb site windows. Not able to get the kill, but certainly damage done, and now safety for your teammate as they are on that rappel. Yes, going to be playing in the janitor's closet. They are on that warden. Laggers getting in the opening kill, eliminating Quicks early on in this round. And that's the Aruni gone, so no punch holes being made later in the round for a rotate grab. But the Aruni gates are certainly going to be up at least, so no utility really lost.
The ace charge right above the stock room is so valuable. See, we see Hangman watching all the way down the hallway. There's no roam available there anymore. There's a shield, but it's just going to be rendered unplayable for the defense. That's going to be so valuable for Purdue, especially as they start getting up onto the second floor. And with a minute left, they have the luxury to get up there and start angling more into conference room.
Something to keep in mind, too, is that the C4 has already been used on the mute. So had they just noticed that bodies weren't on site, they could have pushed. Now W has pushed up, though, so more bodies available for the defenders to defend their bomb site. Hangman, though, getting it sound like a one-tap on the Theus. That's unfortunate. Now a 3v5 to Purdue in a good position, but maybe time is against them at this point. Toxicity getting one, but Goosemitty going to find W. That's going to at least allow Purdue to just dominate in the last part of the round. 3 last kills coming in for them, and the map is won.
Wow, I was about to say the execute has to start happening right now with the time starting to tick down, but Purdue had not only set up for that execute, it was the dominoes were all right there, tapping them right down. 3 kills at the same moment right there, just close out a round, no questions asked, and there's not many questions to ask at all about that map at all. 6-1 or 7-1 over the course of that one, an even more dominant one on the opponent's map pick, as you said.
Yeah, and look to take the next map, which is their choice. So back to their own favorite, but they've had more success on their opponent's map. So maybe they prefer to go to another opponent map. Who knows? We'll find out when we get back, though. Just a short break, and we'll be back with that third map.
We are back once again with the championship match here between Purdue Gold and Ohio Northern University. Wealku, what do you think of this next map?
Well, I do want to just point out something that is maybe relevant, maybe not with this matchup, but the last matchup we saw on stream for Rainbow was CCE versus Purdue White, I believe. And that was a 2-0 for Purdue White to start out. And then CCE came back and won 3-2.
Ooh.
So, could happen. We've seen a Purdue team fall after being up 2-0. Maybe there's a little bit of something there. I don't know.
Could be star-crossed here. And this is going to be the map that really is what's going to determine that Oregon could be our last here. We're on series point in favor of Purdue Gold after they got both of the first two maps, both Villa and Bank going in their favor, and Bank in a spectacular manner.
True enough. And something to keep in mind, this is going to be Purdue Gold's map choice. And let me look quick. I just want to see if it's what I think it is, which is yes, ONU will be starting defense, which is still in my mind the better side on Oregon, right? This map has been figured out a bit more by the attackers, so it's not super hard to attack anymore, but it does take coordination, and it still is good to get a split half. You don't see a domination coming out from attackers usually on this map. So I do expect that ONU at least will be starting with a good position, knowing that they'll be on the defense first.
This is the best spot they'll be in for a while. Both these teams have been performing much better on the defense on both the last two maps as well. So we'll see if those bans are going to do anything to really shake that up. I doubt it so much. It's Oregon, like you said. It's a pretty solved map overall. So the Flores and the Thatcher, that's leaves in the wind.
Indeed, seeing that the Thatcher is being brought, I imagine that this brought out for a ban. I mean, it'll probably be similar to what we saw the first map. Not really confusing picks at all. I think Valk will probably be banned because there's a lot of places to throw her gadget around this map, but maybe not. Cade certainly will be, though. He was available last map, I believe, and it wasn't used. So to ban him here shows that at least that would be a difference. He would probably be utilized if he's available.
Oh yeah, going back to last map's bans, that's still baffling to me. It felt like the bans were all focused around having Thatcher and Kaid still on the board, and neither of those characters got used at all.
Yeah, isn't that strange? Two operators who are arguably like some of the most powerful when it comes to support ops, who can get,
And especially on that map.
utility. Either way, it's behind us now. It was a dumb for Purdue Gold. We'll give them that. Now we're here back into more normalcy, and we're going to be seeing kids' dorms. Going to be this first bomb site that Ohio Northern University is going to be bringing us to, and they're going to be bringing that castle, which is I think something to highlight as unusually high in the pick rate.
Yeah, he is really skyrocketed, especially with these two teams. They're loving on Castle right now. He's got that extra Castle barricade that's been added, which is a nice boon to him. He's going to do even more to slow down and eat up projectiles from the attackers. But Purdue Gold doesn't really care too much about extra avenues of attack on most of their attacks for second floor. Mostly they just barrel in through master bedroom side and really take nothing that the defense has as a pain to them.
Something to keep in mind is that they have been very decisive in their attacking rounds, and sometimes that's bit them. Like we saw the first map, they went through 3, and some of those rounds were on the back of quick, decisive nature. We get in, we get plant down, and we win. And then other times we get in and we get stomped. So I do expect that to continue here, I guess is the point. I expect some quick attacks, some good drone work, as always, from Purdue Gold. Something that I'm going to keep praising them for because they really have shown to be the better team when it comes to getting information. I say that, though, and Hangman has actually already lost a drone in the drone phase, which is unusual. But hey, they still have 9 to play with, so it's not like the end of the world. It's something to keep in mind. 1 drone down already. On the defense, they are going to be having 2 shields available on the Ella and on the Smoke. So that could also play into their defensive round with so much utility being brought that needs to get cleared.
Here we are, as expected. That south side take really focused on armory side, but due diligence being done on small tower and big tower, making sure that flanks and runouts aren't going to be really giving them problems, especially with their player that would come right outside of small tower and watching through the window. Providence is going to go up in big tower, actually, so he'll probably be doing a little bit of split pressure, opening up the wall, and just at least making a line of sight.
feel like this. You want to get some pressure onto Attic and then also get the main wall open if you can. Now, a shotgun shot is going to reveal W in here is on the Ella with a shotgun and a shield being placed down here. So being a harassing operator down below in the meeting area, that air job is going to be found out fairly quickly. I'm not sure if they were aware that that wall was opened up, but it's very surprising to me that they would shoot it there had they known that. Oh, well, Providence still getting some work done here. I think they're just playing a little bit of a game with that player in meeting to distract them while their other players are getting the more important things done. That's opening up the walls. Is that wall soft in closet?
That's what it looks like. It looks like a breaching charge is going to be doing the job, which honestly seems like a really dangerous thing to be doing on its own. Just pushing up right there to such a hotly contested wall right there. It feels like Purdue is facing almost no resistance on any of the objective take that they're currently looking for. There's a lot of defenders left though, so it's going to be a bloody execute when it does come down.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Tries on that rotate into the kid's dome from Attic. Or not Laggers, but whoever that Zofia was in the closet wasn't able to get that kill. They rotated right in front of him. Providence, though, is pushing up in Attic, putting some pressure onto that rotation, and they are not going to be allowed to use it any longer. He's going to actually swing and get that kill. That's Thea's off the board. Opening kill going for Purdue Gold, but it's late in the round. Less than 50 seconds are going to remain as they're trying to get an execute done.
Oh no, another gunfight just not going in ONU's favor, despite it being more of a 50-50 right there. Could have gone either player's way. Providence and Smitty both picking up kills, leaving Kiwi alone as the only player that was not in sight has been fully cleared out, and the diffuser has been placed. Soft walls are an opportunity for a wall bang, but he's not going to quite find it. He finds Laggers instead, but Mila's eyes are one of the many sets that are still sitting here waiting for that refrag opportunity. Only one death for Purdue on this initial attack, which is going to set a precedent that they have continued to just be roller coasting on for the last couple of maps.
Again, a decisive round coming from Purdue where they just know exactly what they're going to do. We don't care what you're going to do on the defense. We're going to play our game. You got a player in meeting? We don't care. We're going to ignore him. Guess what? It works out. They just know exactly what they need to do. Let's get some pressure from Attic. Let's get some pressure on the wall, which wasn't reinforced, which is still strange to me, but maybe there was a purpose there. Unfortunately, they didn't utilize that purpose, which to me would have been, we can wall bang them. They can't hide safely behind the other reinforced wall because they're both usually closed up, and that'll allow you maybe to get some kills from that. But they didn't. And unfortunately for them, that doesn't give us a lot of confidence going into the same bomb site yet again.
It's just weird reinforcements or lack thereof. Not even a bandit being pulled up. I understand not bringing the bandit in occasions if you're just going to reinforce and use that to waste a little bit of time. The bandit's not going to do too much more if you know that they're going to get vertical pressure pretty quickly. But just having it fully soft allows the attackers to just blitz through the site there, and that's what Purdue was looking to do in the first place anyways. And I think looking at some film for Purdue Gold is going to tell you that as well.
Indeed, the film would probably show that this is a team that will do quick executes once they are in their position. Now, it didn't happen early in the round, but that's not necessarily what I mean by quick execute. I mean simply we're going to push at the same time and get in and get the kills very fast. And get
it's like a finger snap, I swear.
Right, it really is. They're very good at it. And ONU has been baffled so far. They're going to need some answers quick if they don't want to find themselves losing a 3-0 fashion in the grand finals here. Drone work coming through. Going to be trying to find the bodies as they were pretty privy last round to all the different positions of the defenders, as seen by just all the different kills coming in quick succession there. So clearly they had the information they needed. What can these defenders do to throw them off?
Well, this round they're going to be roaming a little more heavily. They're going to be looking to catch one of these attackers out alone. Hangman is one of those potential candidates for that. But Kiwi has to make a bold play here. Going to shoot out the arrow jab and look at the angle. Hangman is long gone, though, pushed out the front door. He's going to start setting up some other air jabs just to keep playing that game and keeping defenders distracted on first floor.
Hangman getting that kill onto Kiwi. There it is. Distract him. Put him down. That's the body you wanted to open up the round with. Only a minute in, so they still have plenty of time to get what they need done. Providence, you saw over on the Maverick, he's obviously going to be doing the same job he did last time, opening up that wall into Attic. But yeah, there is, I think, an outline of a defender over there, so being by himself there is going to leave him a little bit vulnerable, so have to watch out for that. The Thermite does indeed open up that wall only halfway through the round, so they're already showing us that they can just be as successful as they were last time. There is a player playing right here. Theus be trying to creep up on this Maverick, engage with them. They have the line of sight, and they're not able to capitalize on it. giving their position away. Unfortunate, but neither body being found quite yet. And there it is. Providence going to act on the information. Laggers following suit onto Quicks. Now Toxicity and W have a lot of work to do. The last time we saw a very similar situation. A lot of bodies on the attack, getting many of these kills. A jump in is going to be down, but Goosemity gets that kill on W. Now Toxicity left in a 1v4 essentially with the player down, and they know his position on white as well. This is looking like another round lost in the exact same fashion as the first one.
It's the same push, pulled the same way, a little bit more pressure in Attic there. And the worst thing is that Onyu was ready for it. Seeing Kiwi sitting there in Attic, watching that angle, even get some bullets into the leg of Maverick, but it just doesn't quite come out for him. I love the drone throw there at the end. There's a little bit of distraction, make it even more likely win that gunfight, although odds were mounted in Purdue's favor with 5 players still on the board against that one left. There's a really pivotal drone there also that actually caught both players coming up white stairs.
Indeed, but it's the same position they were last time. So even if they didn't have the superb drone work that they do, if they didn't have it, probably would have been pretty aware. So that's why they were, because they seem to just read very well into ONU's defense. They know exactly where they want to play, and they are just completely capitalizing on that information. ONU probably playing pretty predictably, and so now we're going to see them go to the basement. But again, if they play predictably yet again and they're just playing in the same positions, it's not going to work out for them. They need to do something different here. This Purdue goal is just so good at playing the standard set that you would find in the game, whether it's bomb sites or just pushes in general. Whereas utility going to be placed, they know all the defaults and they know exactly how to counter it. So if you don't throw a little bit of something new at them, it's not going to work out for you more than likely.
On Villa, when you did get a lot of mileage on a couple rounds that they won, just area denial. They're looking to channel a little bit more of that again. W's got the Goyo, plenty of shields to go around. 3 of them in the basement, an objective that really benefits from just chunking those all over the place. There's so many great gunfights that are going to be fought time and time again. No matter who the team is, you just got to be forced into a couple funnel points in this basement, which is going to be really big on either side, but the Tachanka as well, bringing a shield himself and even more fire to cover the floor.
I like seeing the roam. I hope they don't lose bodies early. I hope they, at least if they do die, at least die with like a minute remaining. That'd be perfect for them. They'd at least have some time on their side at that point. Just haven't seen it work out for them. Not at least since Villa, like you mentioned, where they did have some success. So I'm not saying it's hopeless for them. I would just like to see it return to form, as they did have some pretty convincing wins there on the defensive side. So seeing that there is going to be Kiwi on the roam on the Jaeger could certainly provide that boon that we saw before. But again, it needs to last long. And here comes the drone work. Kiwi could be found out, but looks like the drone actually isn't fighting him just yet.
Keeping hidden up here could be the difference of this round. If they get a couple picks in the back line, he's seen, but he's taking out that drone. He's got a little bit of time. Laggers is already peeking, though, so this might get a little more deadly. Laggers has been doing great as on most nights. He's going to lose the Gemini here, but his teammates got grenades for him, doing a little bit more damage to Kiwi, but Kiwi is burning a lot of time right here.
Quicks is right in the attic next to him, so Ashley could help him out. And there it is, Mila getting shut down by that. This is the perfect teamwork off of site like we're talking about. Even if this is all they gain from it, they've already bought half of the round. So that's going to be enough for them. That's going to be a down and a kill on to Kiwi. So refrag is coming through eventually, but Quicks is so good with the DMR. Another shot just disgusting on the Lagger's head. And now that body gets to remain up in the attic area, buying even more time Purdue gold. This is not the way that they saw this going, but Goosemity is able to get the kill from behind. They made their own rotate, I think, and it's going to end up affecting them negatively there, but at least they bought 2 minutes of this round.
Yeah, I think that was that double push up there. Pressure from either side is going to put them in a bad position to get fragged out, but Purdue is finally being able to turn their attention towards site, and you don't have intel in sight, and there's a lot of utility burn that has to happen before they get in there safely.
50 seconds remaining. Time not on their side, and it usually is, honestly. They haven't been this stranded for time in a long while, since Villa probably, if ever. But this is at least going to be playing into the favor if they're watching the right angles, but Theas is going to be shut down from behind. They're not watching the backstairs push, and that's actually going to be so disastrous from them. At the very least, they have 30 seconds to buy, so that could prove to be enough for them to win the round. But the Hangman pushing in from behind is going to eliminate W, and Toxicity on the Wamai can't do much. Goosemity finding the head and putting another round on the board for Purdue.
It feels like the anchors just got too comfortable in their positions. They us being in a wide open spot in the hallway, watching an angle where it didn't turn out that there was actually anyone pushing even, just really catching the defense off guard there despite all of the work that the Rome did, and they really did a lot.
They did what they needed, right? They did what you expect. They get a trade of 2 and 2, and they bought 2 minutes. That's a win for the Rome. That's a win for the defenders. But just as you mentioned, the defending anchors in sight caught unawares, and you have to wonder, could there have been a bulletproof that could have been watching if they didn't choose to use their own eyes, at least have something, barbed wire, something to give away the backside push if you're not going to watch it. And they had nothing,
Attackers
it
need to
seemed,
locate and
as that
defuse
player was
bombs.
able to push down and get that kill on Cade, who was not looking at him at all. That's a misplay. And it was really unfortunate because ONU really had that round won with that run game. Unfortunate that wasn't able to come to fruition.
Well, it looks like a similar hold coming out from ONU in this round. The utilities think was really valuable to them. They just had to be able to rotate and face the direction that the attackers ended up coming from there in the end. And they're going to have a similar roam presence that's just so efficacious.
Seeing T'Chaka being brought more and more, and I've heard Providence talk about it too. He switched over last match we casted of him when they won in pretty dominant fashion. He had said that
Attackers
he
are
wanted
moving out to
to
locate a
have
bomb
something
and
a little
defuse it.
more versatile than the smoke babes, because that was the other option he could have done. And he said that just because of the way that the angles are, sometimes it's nice to be able to bounce off, and you can't really do that with the smoke babes. They're just going to stick to like a doorway, for example. But those Shamika charges can certainly bounce off the doorways and get different angles without giving your body up in the same way that a smoke would. So I like to see Chaka played more. The Lord is no longer just a meme. He's actually a usable op.
Yeah, making him effective, though, is going to require tunneling Purdue into one side of the map instead of letting them run free around the entire map. And it's not like they've been doing crazy things. They're coming from those same default angles, just right down Laundry and then right down Big Tower Stairs. And those are places that Tonka is just really going to excel. They have to make sure that they get there and not peeking out the hallway like before. Coming down really heavily on Big Tower Stairs this time. Purdue Gold didn't have much pressure early game here. But this round, they're seeking to turn that around.
Looks playing in Harry Potter could be a deadly position. If he's found, it'll be deadly for him. Easy grenades can find him. But if not, obviously could
A bomb has been
make him pay a
located.
price for missing that information. There's going to be playing on the laundry stairs, and Kiwi over here in kitchen is going to be a menace for
Attackers have
them.
dropped the
Just trying to
bomb
buy
diffuser.
time, distract them, and just, if they don't pay attention to them, do some damage by getting the flank. So a lot of versatility with the positions of these defenders. They are doing pretty well at this point. Hatch is going to be opened up, but still more work to be done from the attackers. So far, ONU looking pretty good on this
Attackers
defense.
recovered the
Yeah,
diffuser.
Purdue's not getting
Attackers
nearly
dropped
the
the
amount
diffuser.
of miniature objectives opened up. They got that hatch here, and that's going to give them a little bit more leverage into getting down into E-Box, but they're still going to have to contend with Quicks down here. And Theas, was finally in a position to be using the Shamiko launcher really well, but he's going to be taken out just before they're really going to be
Attackers
taken.
have located a bomb.
Quicks has been bought a little bit of time right there, but that gunfight that has to happen is still coming right there. The Goyo's going to be knocked out on Bunker. Toxicity taking some damage from a frag grenade, but Quicks has made a nice rotation just in time to get in this close-up angle. As soon as someone peeks around, he's going to be looking for that head, and he's going to land it on Hangman. Another one as well on Providence. He's looking for a third out there. It's not going to be quite there, but he's evened up the
Attackers
numbers
recovered the bomb
quite well
diffuser.
for himself. Kiwi goes down, though, and it's actually even on that 3v3. Quicks just continuing it with a 3K. Goose Smitty's there in a position to bring him down, though. And W's head shows for just a second. Goose Smitty keeping on that tear. Toxicity needs to do it well.
A 1v2, great work from two different players. Goose Smitty getting another one, a triple on the round. Purdue Gold continuing on despite what looked like a dire situation in the later half of this round. They're able to manage it all up to Goose Smitty, getting, I think, a triple kill there to keep them going and rolling 4 in a row.
Triple kills on both sides. Quick's getting that other one as well, but it's just not enough once again. And Purdue, while looking like they are beatable on this map, are moving on without losing these rounds. And that's what's really going to count. I mean, there's only 2 more left in this half. And while the defense is going to be a big boon, it's just not doing enough for ONU right now.
2 times in a row now we've seen ONU look like they were about to just snatch up their prize with their jaws and then snatching out of the jaws of defeat. Some victory.
Defenders, protect your
Purdue
bombs
able
from
to
being
just
defused
somehow
by attackers.
manage to salvage it. And that's really been a problem because now it's 4 in a row on attack for Oregon. Purdue Gold already, if they even lose these last 2 rounds, still would be in a fantastic position going into their defense. So ONU probably kicking themselves. Those are 2 rounds that they had done such a great job in the first half of each round, and then for some reason or another, they just lose a couple of gunfights here, a couple of gunfights there, losing some key positioning, and then all of a sudden their defenders are on their back foot. Having had the advantage all the way through up until that point,
10 seconds
it's just
remaining.
kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah, losing the 2 maps in a row is definitely going to be one of those things. We talk about momentum, we talk about mindset, but this is a longer series than they're playing usually on that week-to-week basis throughout this whole semester. So having this one be this best of 5, being down 2, and knowing that even if you're able to claw this one back, you still have to win 2 more. They're halfway done if they're going to be able to have a chance at winning this ONU. It's just a lot to have on the plate here, while Purdue is already feeling really good on the back of these victories and continuing at the small level and the big level, having round after round and 2 maps behind themselves. They're just going to be feeling better and better as they get closer to the end of their potential.
Attackers have located a bomb.
One thing that we saw is pretty dominant attacking wins and pretty dominant attacking losses on the other side on Villa. And yet that made me question, honestly, early on, well, maybe if Purdue are put in bad situations, can they actually clutch through? And my thought was, well, maybe that's their weakness. If you can just get some opening engagements against them, maybe that's all you need. But so far hasn't been the case here on Oregon, despite being down in terms of strategic advantage or even man count. They've still managed to come through 2 rounds in a row now. That is an interesting Maverick. I have not seen that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It makes a lot of sense if the thermite trick is going to work right there, that Maverick trick would be able to just the same. It's going to be up to Kiwi to try and get some damage here through that explosion that's just been made. He gets some, but a grenade is going to push him out. He's got to take the shot. He doesn't quite land the headshot. Netting Laggers the kill, and he gets another one on Quicks, who is going to be looking for a very similar peak right there. And Quicks, that X factor for ONU, is just going to be completely off the board. WF forced into a rough position, is droned out and taking shots from behind 3 directions. He's going to be shot at from Purdue, coming out ham-fisted, just ripping through the defense. Finally, a kill goes out from Toxicity, but Theos is taken out on the other side of the map. So Toxicity is left on White Stairs alone with no eyes on sight.
And Hangman watching the white window is going to be there to catch him if he tries to go that avenue. So now has to do a very long rotate through meeting. This is looking like a round loss already. It's almost impossible to come back in a 1v4 post-plant situation, way away from even where the bomb is. Anyways, I'm going to give away a little bit of sound cue as well. It's all at this point. I hope they're just taking this time to talk about the last round of their defensive half, because ONU need to at least get one here. They want to keep it contestable. Toxicity finding one body on the Province. A lot of work to be done. And there it is. Hangman on the white window, able to just get that kill, clean up the round. And they have just looked so dominant. This is what they do so well. All the cross angles, the quick pushes, the utility dump to just try and clear out players and put them in disadvantaged situations. They have to be pushed out from their little hidey holes, and then other players are waiting for it. They know exactly what their teammates are going to do. They're ready to play the strategic game, and ONU just hasn't been able to keep up in that department.
It's really impressive how fast they can set up those crossfires while having all of their team spawning the same place, going for the same part of the map. That was a full small tower take. The furthest someone went was Hangman going for the White Stairs window in order to get behind W, who was playing Alibi in that little Z crossing. But they all came from the same side. They just used that vertical pressure and a little bit of the cross angles from the windows, and it allowed them to mop up that entire side of the map.
A short shower corridor is dangerous to be playing in because of that window. And unfortunately, the Alibi that you thought would maybe deter them shooting through it did not do its job. They just didn't care. Shoot right through it, get the kill. I'll take the kill if it means I'm getting pinged. I don't care. You know, the angles against me aren't so dire that I have to be very scared of it. Right? So he's just playing it smart, just like Purdue have really done throughout this entire series, playing smart Siege.
Yeah, it's just continually benefited them. A lot more area denial coming out for ONU once again as they head back to basement.
5 seconds to insertion.
It's been hard for them to get it to apply in a lot of situations. They're really relying on Quicks and Kiwi to get kills in the early round, and the Anchors are just not having any luck trying to stimmy Purdue's attack. And Purdue, coming from whatever angle suits them best, they're quick on the rotates and quick on establishing the angles.
Up until this point in this matchup, Purdue has always had the advantage, except for one round in Villa where ONU is up by 1 round. That's it. Every other time they have been up, and it has not. They have not looked back from that. Toxicity playing up in Big Tower. The drone, I think, did see him, so they're going to be aware of his position. He's just trying to buy time and maybe get a kill, and certainly shoot some drones. Being very aggressive, pushing up there. Another drone coming through, and a lot of bullets being shot in his vicinity. Still alive, but with Purdue, it's only a matter of time, you feel, until he's going to be found out. But W going to get a kill onto Hangman. Lagger's going to find Quicks, though. Instant trade, and these crossfires are dangerous. Look at that. Lagger's getting one. Goose Media elsewhere finds Toxicity, and now Kiwi and Theas are in a bad situation, a 2v4. One at least off-site. Theas is over in blue bunker area at least, so not too bad of a position, but certainly with 2 minutes remaining, not where you want to be.
Every single level of Big Tower was on full assault right there. While we watched that long-winded battle, Toxicity trying to fight it out against several members of Purdue's team. The rest of Laggers just tore through the basement defense. Kiwi had to rotate all the way here. Luckily for him, the site is still in their possession, but it's only him and Theos trying to fight it out here. He's almost down to Laggers, just a sliver of health remaining on him, and he doesn't know where else attacks could be coming from. Right now, there aren't those crossfires set up, but Purdue has so much time to start finding other angles and start rotating. It's going to be so hard to do this.
Yep, we're seeing someone go down Freezer. We see someone playing on the hatch. Someone went to bunker like I was hoping. Easily can find the kill on to the Chanka if he's not going to be careful there. And then the flashbang's coming through. Oh my goodness, they're just going to be harassed in their different positions here. Lagger's finding a third one on the round. Kiwi off the board. Diaz all by them lonesome in a 1v4. Oh, so much time remaining. It's only a matter of time. Mila shuts it down quick, and Purdue have a perfect, flawless half attack.
That was terrifying from Purdue. They just blitzed their way through that whole side of the map once again, this time even faster. Big props to Kiwi, though, playing out of his mind, just trying to find an opportunity to land anything he could. He was everywhere at once, but so was Purdue, and they had a little more firepower on their hands.
ONU had 2 rounds that were close in the middle of their defense, but now, after still losing those ones even, unfortunately, they're looking down the barrel of a 7-0 and then a quick 3-0 on the grand finals, which is unfortunate for them because they came out looking pretty good on that first map. As you know, it wasn't a bad map whatsoever by them, but since then they just haven't. I don't know. Maybe that first map just did it for them. They were just not able to regain their confidence afterwards. Not sure what happened. Obviously, Purdue Gold, or in other leagues, even other collegiate leagues, they're one of the top teams. We know this, so this isn't super surprising coming out from them. They're obviously just a well-known collegiate team in general, all over the board. And so for them to dominate like this, it's nothing to be ashamed of on ONU's side, but certainly a lot to learn by watching them with just how quick, decisive, and organized they are.
It's kind of crazy to see, even with how even in this season ONU has performed. They're pretty much unfazed by the rest of the competition, except specifically Purdue Gold. They went 5-1 regular season, only losing to Purdue, and they've 2-0'd their way through playoffs. There we go. Up until this point, so they have not lost a map in playoffs until losing to Purdue here, and they just can't find the answers for this one team that is just absolutely dominant on the field.
You could say it's their kryptonite, but you could also just say that
they're kind of everyone's kryptonite. They're just like
Purdue doesn't have a kryptonite.
They'll kill everyone.
It seems like they're invincible because they haven't dropped a map in regulation, and now in the playoffs, looks like they're going to have a flawless run here too. So they've just looked like the top dog, and it shows just how dominant they are. They're ahead of the curve. Either way, they're hoping to get a flawless here with 7-0. That'd look really good on their resume, I'm sure. Be looking to hold out on a defensive hold in Kids Dorm. Toxicity, though, going to get a kill, so it's not a flawless round at least. He's Smitty off of the board. He has been the biggest gun outside of Laggers, and so that's definitely a kill that you're happy to have for ONU.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, that's definitely real valuable right off the bat. ONU is sort of taking things a little differently. The Kiwi Montaigne is definitely an interesting one right off the bat. He's got to slow himself down, though, wait for his teammates to check for anything else that could be hurting him. There could be C4s, some other cameras or intel available, but W getting a kill on Laggers is going to open up a lot more potential for them.
The patience from ONU has looked really good here. They've been waiting for the Purdue defenders to feed into them, and they have done so. So the aggression being punished on the side of Purdue. So now a 3v5 in the favor of ONU. This is looking like they could get around here. They just need to bring it to fruition. Hangman, though, is going to be trying to contest it, trying not to let that happen. And a shot from behind, though. Kiwi finds Mila. Toxicity finds Hangman. And Providence, the team captain, the IGL, in a 1v4. Now this is looking really good from ONU, trying to pay it back a little bit. They have a lot more to do after they get this round. It looks like it's for sure done unless a miracle happens. It won't. Quicks to find that round, and it won't be a flawless at least.
Well, the Montagna ends up not being really the thing that's going to seal the deal, but instead is that coordination and individual angles getting found by ONU all throughout that. They're not going to get swept this map. They do have that fighting chance, but that 6-1 is such a daunting match point to be on.
Trying a different bomb site now. Purdue decided that looked pretty good from ONU, so let's not give them another shot there. Let's go somewhere else. And they're not actually going to go basement. They're going meeting in kitchen, which we have not seen at all because ONU kept constantly trying up and down. And even you mentioned the small tower take coming out. We haven't seen this bomb site, though.
Yeah, it'll be our first, and we'll have rotated through all of them between the two teams at this point. ONU still showing a Montagna, but Huey's going to switch off and go for the ace instead. Thinking maybe that's not exactly what they wanted, or maybe they're going to be going for a different site take that's not going to value it as much, which is probably a good call, seeing as we are on a different bomb site here, which does not favor Montaigne as much. It's a lot less lateral for the take, and more angles will have to be watched, and he doesn't like that. He's got a soft rollback.
We've seen extension holds work out pretty well for Purdue. Last time their roamers were caught unawares. But this time they have that castle, which we saw. They're pretty good at placing these things and buying time with them. So it's certainly something that has maybe some PTSD for ONU going into this and being a little bit worried about what is it we have to contend with here. No sledge on the board either, so you're going to have to utilize some charges or just utilize some punches or just try and supersede them by going around. But it's not ideal with how many castles there are, and there's only so many choke points you have to get.
Reloading.
Yeah, they don't have a lot of utility for dealing with castles either. It's going to take some explosive impacts or grenades at this point, maybe even Selma charges, which they might have a spare to use for that, but it's going to be an economy problem for ONU.
Yeah, gonna have to just figure out what they want to do for that utility, and maybe a quick rush would be the solution. Just use a little bit of utility, get in, get a plant down. Either way, they're just taking their time here in the opening parts of this round, just maybe droning out, getting themselves some information. They've already lost 2 drones, I can see on the side of the screen there, on the Zofia and on the Maverick, but it's still not too bad. They still have plenty of drones that they can utilize, but the question would be, how long can that last? They can't keep throwing drones in and losing more and more and more like we've seen in the past. It's hurt them pretty badly, so it's got to be a little careful with their economy.
Yeah, speaking of that, Maverick Taz has opened up some really usable lines of sight into objective directly. He's getting watched, though, by Providence. He's going to get a kill himself, though, taking out Hangman, open up a little more of that avenue for the defenders. And the split push is really paying off at this point. They've taken out 2, lost 1 on their own, and Teos has that angle still held. He knows that there might be someone coming up, and he's going to check for the camera at the right moment. What a trade to have, though, taking a headshot and getting hit by an impact in exchange. The numbers are still going to stay in ONU's advantage. They just got to find Goose Smitty and Laggers. Laggers still on site while Goose Smitty is looking for a flank opportunity.
Well, Kiwi getting a kill on the Laggers is going to allow these attackers now access to sight. The swing coming out from Goose Smitty can shut down one, but now they have to be wary of his presence here. Red Ping's going to come out as well, only feeding more information to Goose Smitty. He's aware of where this plant could be going down. Now it's essentially a 1v1. He can't win it, though. Quicks, too quick on the trigger. Shuts him down. That's 2 in a row now for ONU.
Quicks has picked up so many kills for his team. He's going to keep it up and put that second kill on Goose Smitty, who has been so hard to pin down this map. He's just been running away. Statistically speaking, he was very likely to win that, even that 1v3, and he had a valiant attempt at. They've got to go back to the basement once, or they got to go to the basement for their first time, excuse me, which is an obstacle to face. ONU, they're not totally determined what they're going to be looking at. We have this ESP, we get to see that they were thinking about the Montaigne pick once again, and we'll get to see if Kiwi ends up going for that sixth pick or staying with the more lateral take since he wasn't able to have too much input on the first round. But they are making a resurgence right now.
Close around, but ONU have shown that they want to have similar success on their attacks.
Defenders, protect
Putting
your
in the
bombs from
work
being
now, we get
defused
to
by
see
attackers.
the teamwork that I had been doubtful of, in honesty. At least the quality of it, I didn't see it matching up to Purdue, but so far, so good. They found 2 rounds, and a lot of it has come from nice angles being held. Drone work was a lot better in this map than it was in the second map on attack. So that's really good, but we're going to continue to say it because it's something to be aware of. A perfect tap is very hard to emulate when it's already been done against you, because you only have 1 round to lose for the map, and the match should be done. So despite finding 2 in a row, they still need to find 4 more on top of that. Momentum is with them now, but it might not be enough to carry them through. So just something to always be in the back of your mind. They have no room for error.
Attackers'
Absolutely
objective is to
none.
locate a
One
bomb and
round
defuse it.
is the end of the entire season for either team if it goes in favor of Purdue. So they have all this work that they've made fighting so many other teams, really riding on the line here.
W, going back on that Jackal, we've been a little critical of it because it hasn't really netted them too much when we have seen it brought out. But this is a map, at least, where there is a lot of... It's a lateral map, right? It doesn't have so much vertical pressure, especially on the basement here, unless we're talking about the roamers. So at the very least, you can push in with Jackal and less likely to just get shot from a crazy angle. So he at least has utility in that sense. He can very easily find these roamers' footsteps. So he does have, I would say, greater utility here than maybe on Bank, where it's all reliant on surviving to even get inside the building. But in this case, there it is. The ping coming through, already finding more of a gain than they had last map.
That's a lot of pressure on Goose Smitty already. He almost got his head taken off by a couple stray shots going through that window, and now he's getting constantly pinged. W on the prowl, looking for this kill. He's gonna barely miss it. Oh, until Goose Smitty comes right back. The pings are still going out. He's baiting a little bit of that audio. A lively fight is going to go W's way, but he doesn't quite finish Goose Smitty. There is the kill as Quix is going to get it, but Mila, his comment, had his say as well. He gets a kill, and he's gonna get totally out of there. He's fine to Harry Potter now.
Well, that's at least the Jackal gone, so no more footsteps can be found. Goosemity is dead, and that is their top fragger. So again, they've been really good at getting him early in rounds, it seems, which has helped them a lot, because that is someone you do not want alive. As we saw last time, he really could have sealed the deal in the last round, because he was the last one around. But the round before that was a lot more dominant, and it was really because he was the first death to do. And so that's going to allow them to have some freedom here to start taking more gunfights with more confidence. Hatch's going to be opened up. That's why you bring other utility on some of the non-arbiters that would allow you to open up hard breach things. And so now the avenues of sight are opened up. It's all about executing. At the very least, it can give Purdue some credit. They have bought a lot more time in this round, only 50 seconds remaining.
Looks like the freezer and laundry push is going to be what's going to do it, or at least is going to be the attempt for ONU. They've got all the utility stuff that they need to have. It's just about the kills now. It's about getting the execute all together. Lager's the first one to get a kill here. Hangman following up, both of them headshots with machine pistols, and Kiwi and Quicks are left on their own, fighting for their season lives right now. But this area is just jam-packed all the way through freezer. Lager's going to show his head for a base. He's going to take some hits for it, but Quicks isn't able to get in. Providence gets the best of him. Kiwi left alone. He's going to get one, and he does not get the second. Hangman closes it out as Purdue are the Legends Division champions.
A 3-0 victory for Purdue Gold. Coming out on top is really never in doubt for them. Constantly doing very well in the league. Obviously undefeated all throughout, whether regular season or here in the playoffs. Dominant fashion coming in and getting that trophy, which is well deserved, just showing just how good they are. Their strategic coordination synergy on the team just looks outstanding. Great job from them. ONU, good try. They had a little bit of a resurgence there on their attacks. It looked a lot better on attack than it did on Bank, so I want to give them credit. They're showing that they can be better than what we saw on Bank on attack. The only other thing would be their defense maybe needs a little bit of work on Oregon too, but at the same time, how much is that just Purdue being so good? We don't know. Either way, though, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. I think we will, if the player wants to, on the team of Purdue, have an interview. We should have one coming up. It's really dependent on them, but we'll let you know. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NECC. I'm Wheelku, continuously joined by Treasure, of course, my duo here. We're joined by Providence, the Captain IGL for Purdue Gold. Welcome in, Providence. How are you feeling after winning 3-0 in Grand Finals?
Feels good, man. Yeah, we're happy with the result, as you could imagine.
All
Well, my
right.
first question. Sorry, Trish, to
Get
interrupt.
them.
I just wanted to start with a quick question that I'm just curious to know if you have any like insight on this. Maybe this isn't even a big deal, but you go in and it's your map choice. I believe the first map of Villa, and it's 7-4, which is like kind of close. I don't know how close you consider that, but it's decently close. And then you go to your opponent's map, but you win 7-1. Can you walk us through maybe why that might happen?
Yeah, I could talk about that. Villa is a map that collegiate teams play, and Bank is not. I think it's pretty much as simple as that. If you're
That's
not
fair.
screwing teams that play Bank and you're not practicing it, then you're gonna be less comfortable on it, and that's gonna be the result if you're playing a team that screams it every once in a while. So.
All right. So there's this phenomenon that we just keep seeing with you guys is that you feel like you're one step ahead of the other team all the time. You look at the final round of Villa, and you guys buster down with your shield setup on the exact round that your opponents finally went with a full out rush. It was the perfect counter to them. You had them stopped up in one place for about a minute and a half. They didn't even really get to play that round. Is there anything that you, as the shot caller for your team, have going on there? Like, how do you know what's going through your mind as far as interaction between your plays and what the opponents are going to be playing in the next round?
Yeah, so the way we try to do setups is extend a little bit in general, but then come back and rotate our utility back if it is going to be a direct take. For some reason, they kept playing Jackal, so they really don't have everything they need to clear shields. And I mean, we recognize that and recognize that it was a really direct master take, and yeah, posted up basically.
All
That's
right.
fair. I just want to ask, in general, has Castle always been something you've utilized to the degree that we saw, or has the recent buff of adding an extra castle barricade has that changed his pick rate for you, or have you always just viewed him as an op that helps you with those extensions?
um, I'd say part of it is the maps we played today are castle maps for sure. But we do love castle. Working castle into our holds is good for us. It helps narrow down the angles that attackers have. Um, I would say the buff is sort of like a cherry on top. And actually, I will say they just announced recently a new buff for him as well. Is he'll be able to place those castle barricades immediately without having to tear down the existing barricades. So that's kind of cool.
I had made mention of that earlier. Ha, Treasure, I'm
Yeah, great
right.
minds think alike. All right, so this was a pretty dominant match, even here in finals at the end of the season for you guys. And you guys obviously are no strangers to that. We've seen how you play over the course of this season. What do you think was the point tonight where you felt we're the champs? We've got this.
Um, I don't know. I guess going map 3-3-0 always feels good to not drop a map. Maybe I guess going up so much on the attack on Oregon was pretty clear. It's not really a map that you can afford to lose a lot of defense rounds on. So that was probably the point that it was kind of like, yeah, this is we're taking this one home. So
Any bittersweet feelings in this victory? Do you have players who are going to be graduating? I admit my ignorance in this department. I could have looked at the roster, but I figured it's just better to ask. And maybe there's some shout outs, to some people who, have continued to help you on this journey towards this victory.
yeah, we got three seniors on the team right now. One of them might be doing an extra semester because of the way his classes worked out, but we'll see how that goes. But we still got another full season to come after Christmas break, so we're looking forward to that as well. But we are, I would say, an older team as far as our players.
How do you see that affecting you for next season? Are you pretty confident with what you guys have cooked up for us for next year after this semester, or is it sort of more of an X factor where you're waiting to see really what resources you guys are going to have?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is not to let things get stale. So for us, we're a roster that's been playing together for like really long time insofar as collegiate goes and T3 goes in general. And part of the problem that arises with that is if you're playing the same thing day in, day out and doing the same things, it's going to get stale for you. You might have burnout, things like that. So we're in some pretty serious role changes. Those that are watching us often might notice that Mila does not normally play hard breach, so that's kind of a new thing for us. We're just testing out and playing around with. It's kind of fun. So I don't know. We're playing around with new role changes. We've had some drop off in our other leagues and in dirt report rankings. We're not worried about it, but people are starting to underestimate us a little bit again, which might be to our advantage. But we're looking forward to the next season.
Well, before we bid you adieu, I know Tresh always likes to do this, but how about you just give us a little plug, maybe throw in some of your socials out there so people can follow you.
Yeah, got a Twitter at Providence R6. Also, the org, Esports at Purdue. You can follow that on Twitter as well. There's
awesome. Thank you very much. And, I've been WeAllQ Casts, and that's my Twitter. Got, Tresh over there with the real Zach is Zanley. How do you say your name?
Oh, you don't know my last name is Zonley. It's terribly unphonetic. It's so awful to look at there. But it's the one I'm stuck with. I like it how it is. So if you do seek to find me, NECC here, you follow us on Twitter, NECC Games here, NECC Esports, of course. Hit it with a subscribe if you are so willing. If you enjoy what you see and you want to keep supporting what NECC has to bring. This will actually be the final broadcast of this semester. So it'll be the new year before we see you again. There'll be some brand new things with NECC, a whole new season, and maybe even some more teams, and all of your favorites from before coming right back. It'll be a whole blast.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to Tofu for being the observer for tonight, and of course Michael here doing all the dirty work behind the scenes, getting this broadcast up and running very well. So thank you to those two. But that's it from us here. We appreciate you. We hope you have good holidays, and over this small break, we hope that you stay safe. So we'll see you next year. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.